Hello and welcome to Final Show Films. Before you enjoy the following production, there's just a few things I'd like to get out of the way first. Starting off, I'd like to thank all of our Patreon supporters, especially our $25 tier supporters, Antitonic, Cat, Waterflame, and Samantha Bates. If you'd like to support us, you can do so on our Patreon at patreon.com/fsfilms, as well as by following me on Twitter at Johnny Bates, following and subscribing to us on Twitch, twitch.tv/senstaku, on YouTube, youtube.com/senstaku, and on any of our podcast feeds, links to which you can find on my Twitter account. Thank you once again for tuning in, and I hope you have a good time. Bye. Because, of course it isn't. Because, hey, there it goes. I don't know why Windows likes to ignore my microphone preferences, but it does. Hi, everybody. Just wanted to add on to the end of the video intro there. Shout out to Maureen Montee, another new $20 tier supporter. I haven't had a chance to get the video updated because this person signed on to our Patreon during Midsummer Night's Stream, and I've been busy. Now handing it over to our Game Master for the evening, Aaron.
Yep. We appreciate all of our Patreon people, and we're working to get updates done for you as quickly as possible. But right now, we're delving into Star Wars. Last time, things happened. But before we get to that, I need to remember to do this stuff in order if I'm going to do it at all. John, why don't you introduce your character?
I'm John. I'm currently playing Ares Artanos, Mandalorian mercenary soldier.
And Jeremy?
I am Jeremy, and I am once again playing Lux, Zeltron spy, hacker, slicer, person.
And Kat?
I am Kat, and I am playing Powder. The medical droid was still having issues. We should all be rolling Destiny, so I'm going to do that.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I was kind of wondering where that was going, but you know.
I got us a dark side.
Hang on. Yeah. I'll roll mine. I got 2 light side.
I got 1 light side.
All right, and Spencer.
I'm Spencer. I'm playing Siolo Mabok, the Twi'lek ambassador to the Rebellion, and one dark side.
All right. So, last time on Star Wars, Afterlight Skies, the party decided to head back to Crossroads, both to help Corey finish up some debt stuff that also affected the rest of the group, and to offload passengers, buy new stuff. There was a few different reasons to go to Crossroad, not all of which I remember. And also because they can always get there because Powder somehow has the location of the secretive neutral ground-ish underground marketplace that floats through space in an UGG. I got distracted. That a secret underground marketplace that throws space in an UGG in their brain. Their brain that they have kind of tinkered with a little bit at this point. But that part is still working, so that's good, bad, mysterious. However, upon reaching Crossroads, a few things happened. Some deals were made, some conversations were had, or rather not had, with an angry guy in a lawn chair, and Corey decided to leave with her mother because she no longer had to be there.
Basically.
And because it wasn't like any of these people had endeared themselves to her beyond Powder bringing her lots of coffee.
They good peeps. They
Aries
just not my
returned
peeps.
to find that his Corey / prisoner / person who betrayed him quite significantly had somehow escaped and wired his escape room to who let out an audible beep through the rest of the area. When going to investigate that, he found, well, we'll get back to that, but we're actually going to start with Siolo and Powder, who are just entering, having not taken quite as urgent a stride as Ares had to first enter the ship after your discussions with the Shaper. As you two enter the the ship lets off a loud, audible beep sound. All of the intercoms just for a second, as though some sort of feedback or other sound has been wired through them. It only lasts about half a second before they're stopping. I think you can probably make inference of what that might indicate.
Yeah. So this is going off after we have said goodbye to Corey.
Yes.
And we're getting back on the ship. Yeah.
Everyone's back on the ship at this point. Ares was headed off in the direction of the crew quarters in the blood room.
Yeah, I think I have a pretty good idea. And I will act like I don't have a pretty good idea.
Good plan. Okay.
Have I ever heard this sound before?
That's a good question. Has the ship ever made this noise before for like any normal alarm?
You guys can make me difficulty 1 mechanics check. This is more mechanics than computers.
Success and an advantage.
Same.
So for both of you, no, the ship doesn't normally make this noise. It's not any sort of typical alarm. It sounds to you like some comm panel either got busted or altered, or for Sai, who has a little more insight into why this might be happening, cued to trigger at a specific instant.
Okay.
And just like, the feedback that mics do, that,
Yeah.
but on a spaceship.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'll just look over at Powder and just be like, "There, you shoot something again?"
I do not know.
Huh.
We should check.
It is Kesmet that the moment the ships start making weird noises is the moment Corey is gone.
Of course. The ship misses her too.
That was a goodbye. Aww. Yeah, we go back in the ship.
So, speaking of the ship missing people, Ares, you are entering the computer's room as a woman, I believe, swivels around like a mastermind.
Doesn't really swivel around. No, she.
We
So
have the basic instinct turn.
With a cat.
you just see, purple black hair, the purplish black hair. She's sort of side view currently, working on looking over some stuff, just sort of lean over with one hand on a thing on sort of the console. Pink skin, dressed in fairly nondescript darker clothes. And she's just sort of looking there and she's like, "You let Powder fly the ship, didn't you?"
Yes. Who are you?
And she looks over, is like, "Ares, right?"
Right.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Lux. Technically, I think this is my ship.
Cool. That's fun. You wouldn't happen to be either responsible for or know why a locked-up Mandalorian in a very secure room is no longer in that room, would you?
We're not talking about you,
No.
right?
No, talking about a
No.
bastard who helped slavers.
Really?
Yes.
No, I don't know. But if I had encountered such an individual and was aware, believe me, he wouldn't be getting out of any rooms.
In that case, would you mind helping me figure out how the fuck you got out of the room?
I can certainly look. First things first, though. Where's the other people?
Uh,
And at that moment, Powder, you're looking for someone that might have shot the ship. And you see someone that, I mean, in her darker, crazier moments, maybe would have shot a ship, but doesn't seem to currently have a gun to shoot the ship with in hand. But you recognize her.
Powder
And
will,
Fire there too, but you do not recognize this one.
Right.
Powder will walk in. Hello, Lux.
Yee! Runs over. Gives a big hug.
Visitors?
Powder will hug Lux back.
How are you?
I have a gun now.
That's the best news I've heard in at least the last 15 minutes.
We all do. Who are you?
This is
You're
Lux.
Sai, right?
No. Who are you?
This is Lux. She owns this ship.
What they said.
Oh.
more
So are we
important,
out of a job now?
So
Is
you're
that what this means?
You're not Silo?
He is.
I am.
Okay.
more importantly, she's going to be assisting me in discovering why exactly Yarrick, the scumbag, is no longer in his room.
Yeah, apparently you people lost a prisoner, I guess.
Eric is missing.
Yep.
Did Corey's door fail?
No, Corey's door was closed. When I went to open it, a loud beep happened, which I'm certain you guys heard,
Yeah,
and
we heard
Yarrick
it
was not
outside.
inside. And when I discover how he got out, I'm going to deal with that problem in one of two very specific ways. I say, patting the blaster rifle on my hip.
All right. Well, really quick,
Bit of a puzzle.
let's get to know each other just a little bit. Relevant current information to this current situation that you might like to know about me. I am very good with computers. I am less good with the mechanical side of it. So if it's something mechanical, I may not be able to help. If it's something with the computer side of it, let me see what I can slice into and see.
How is this
I
your
will check the
ship?
mechanics.
Tiara told me that
I-
Praz was the captain of this ship.
I bought it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Prez was the captain, but he was only in charge of the ship because me and the guy, me and somebody else, the people who bought the ship, left the ship and said, okay, I guess one of you guys is in charge. And apparently you elected Praz.
No, he was elected when I got here.
Yeah, he was sort of already there.
Well,
That makes sense. I mean, well, no, that
of the two of us.
makes sense. Yes, exactly.
So you left the ship to Praz, which means it's no
No.
longer your ship.
No, we left it in his care.
That's not how ships work in the galaxy, at least not where I'm from.
It is how it works on this ship.
So, and she pulls out a data pad. Is like, here's the bill of sale and the and the registration for the ship. Do you see the name Praz anywhere on it?
See who you're talking to. I don't think most of us care about bills of sale.
Well, that's a I mean, legal. So okay, legal matters. Technically, this is all invalid because I'm a horrible traitor to the Empire and blah 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 blah.
Also, you would have noticed that they'd switched the ship's code since you were last here.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. I can switch that back if I want. No.
So what does
that's
this
my
mean
ship.
for us?
Nothing really.
So you're just here to be along for the ride? That doesn't make sense. Why would you have come back?
Well, there is time to cover that later when we are not looking for a Mandalorian who is probably running as far away from this ship as possible.
Lux, if you will look in the computers, I will check the mechanics.
Works for me.
And Powder will go to the door to see it.
Computers difficulty 3 for Lux. Mechanics difficulty 3 for Powder.
All right. Powder has no clue. That's a failure and 2 advantage.
A success and a threat.
With the failure and 2 advantage, you can't figure out much about what this door was wired with or for her. What you can figure out is that brute force was not used. It was not hacked down with anything.
Okay.
There are no bashing or chainsaw marks to indicate such.
So it definitely wasn't a physical breach.
Yeah. With 1 success on a lot of dice. God.
We are back to Lux rolling.
Yeah, it's really character specific in weird ways.
Right?
3 of those 7 dice were blank.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the bad dice was blank. So,
Yeah.
you know, take what you can get. But with 1 success and 1 threat, Lux, the first thing you notice is that whatever opened this room, it was opened with is what the ship thought to be the proper codes, essentially. It
Okay.
seems like the door was mostly mechanically, but with a digital sort of verification method, sealed. And both of the times it's been opened, it was opened without defeating the mechanical part of the seal. It was
Right.
defeated from a digital place. Now, with 1 threat, it's not possible for you to determine exactly how this was done, but you're fairly certain, and checking security cameras would probably confirm this, that someone managed to fake the sensors into thinking that this was a person who was allowed to open the door.
Does this look like something that could have been done from the inside of the room?
No, absolutely not. I mean, maybe with extensive, like, if you had something that you could put under the door and a lot of training, maybe. But no, it have had to happen from the outside of the door.
Interesting. Well, definitely had help. Well, probably had help. I don't know. I don't know your Mandalorian. I don't know how
He's a
was
grunt.
Yarrick?
Ground and pounder like me.
Yarrick was it?
Yark, yeah.
Yarrick. I don't know how skilled Yarrick was in computers, but somebody managed to fool this door to think that it had access.
Can we determine who that was?
Yarrick have any friends?
None that knew he was on this ship. The only people that knew he was on this ship were the people on this ship.
Are you
And
sure?
pretty
Yeah.
certain.
Security cameras.
And I sort of like I sort of peel back the sleeve of my the sleeve of my armor to show the cybernetic arm, and it damn sure wasn't me.
Hot. Okay. So,
We didn't get everybody on the castle. We left early.
well, somebody probably helped him get out. Do you want me to track where he's going?
Yes, but do we have cameras on this ship?
Mm-hmm.
I believe.
Yeah, surely we have our own, like, for our own security reasons, we would have cameras, right?
Unless you guys
I
broke
believe-
my ship more than I thought you did.
I believe after we had
the
Praz,
rerun room where Rerun had soldered everything out of one of the rooms.
Yes.
after we had the issue with Praz and people coming on the ship, I do believe we have cameras on the inside of the ship.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. No. Like I said, unless you broke my ship more than I thought you did.
And
Because I remember
Difficulty
specifically.
2
telling me
computers
tons of
because you installed the security.
Yeah.
You know what? 2 boost die. You installed the security system.
All right. Computers. 2 boost die. Diff 3 again?
Difficulty 2 with 2 boost
Okay,
die.
yeah.
Let me know when I come back into the conversation, because I know checking the door is going to take some time.
All the successes? Not
Yeah,
literally,
that's an
but
exceptional success.
yeah, 6 successes.
I love how the
yeah.
boost I got you nothing.
So you're able to locate the room that easily enough, mostly from like you know where it is from the breach H data. What you see is the back of looks to be an older human woman's head. She's got brownish graying hair, some sort of traveler jacket. While she's working, she's turned away from the keyboard. She seemed from the keyboard camera. She seems to have some variety of slicing equipment and some kind of genetic material with her. You can guess that she is the one tricking it. The door clicks open. There seems to be a short conversation that unfortunately these cameras don't have a ton of audio. That's what the intercoms are for. There seems to be a short conversation between the two of them. And then he this you can gather Mandalorian man. He's really just wearing a shirt and essentially space jeans, I guess. I don't know what Yarrick was wearing. The woman then, seemingly prompted by that conversation, goes into the room, yanks on a few cables, seemingly setting this thing that went off. And Ares already figured this out, but messed with the noise thing to create a beep sound, closes the door, and heads back over to the maintenance room.
Anybody know who this is?
Do I recognize that as Corey?
It's not Corey.
Do I recognize that as Corey's
It's
mom?
Corey's mom.
I got shot like 5 times for her.
Well, that certainly sucks. Do you want me to find him?
Yes.
All right.
Why would she save him? Did it seem like they had any connection when you were with them on the castle?
Not as far as I could tell.
So,
Anyone who knew her name was Rella, right, Jeremy?
Rel.
Rel, sorry.
It's okay.
Rella is my character in a different game. Too many names. Anyone who was with Rel on the ship, so everyone but
Lux.
but Lux, who would be very good at it, can make me a cool roll difficulty 2 to intuit what it might have.
Am I actually there to be able to hear this now?
Yeah, you got back before any of the other stuff happened.
Okay.
Failure, which makes sense.
1 success.
2 success, 4 advantages. Because I'm cool as a cucumber.
Failure, Ares. All you're thinking about is how that bitch tricked you.
All I'm thinking about is how I'm about to be responsible for the death of another Tane family member.
Yeah. So Powder, your thoughts sort of go to what motivations could she have had? She's like Corey. Maybe she cares about the same things Corey does. And you did kind of lock up a guy on your ship that had also been locked up in the facility. That's as far as you can get. Sai, you know a little more about this situation. So putting together the pieces of what you have, it's possible, either by telling her some of what he told you, or or just through general solidarity of past circumstances, what's his face? Yeah, probably could have convinced Rel to help.
Is it safe for me to assume that Rel is also part of the rebellion then? Like, because I'm trying to think of what Yarick could have offered, in terms of, if you help me out of this obviously very dangerous situation, which will piss off Ares to no end, what
it's possible she is. It's with 4 advantages you can intuit. It's also possible that she either felt like this was something worth the risk, or felt like she could do this with enough anonymity, or she may have already known that Corey was planning on leaving.
I'm failing, yeah. Huh, okay.
But yeah, she very well might be a member of the rebellion. It's not like that's something you guys share super openly.
No, I'm just trying to, I know all the pieces to this puzzle innately, other than why did she help? So,
those are some of the things you could have thought of.
Okay.
I like imagining 5 minutes ago or 15 minutes ago on Crossroads. Okay, why are we being quiet about this? Why are we running away quick? Oh, yeah, okay. Let's be quiet. Let's go far, far away. And currently, they are just in hyperspace.
I mean, that's one way to do it. You don't know where they are because you're the one tracking them down now. So
yes, I know.
Tracking down your former character and her mom.
Oh, no. I'm tracking down the Mandalorian.
Oh no, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Not them, because they let a Mandalorian go, but also one of them did stuff to help the rebellion once, so I'm okay with that. I don't have a vendetta there, and nobody's asked me to yet. Anyway.
All right. So.
Yes, I am going to see if I can figure out. Actually, we're going to try one thing first to give me a direction to go. Hold on, I just need to look at.
Oh yes, there's my Trek Mandalorian's ability.
It's very handy.
Die. Wow.
You reach up to the mini map and you go click tracking abilities Mandalorians.
Right. All right, I don't need fish. I don't need minerals. I do need Mandalorians.
Mandalorians.
So. And mailbox. Always need mailbox.
Always need mailbox. And stealth humanoids just in case. Hey, wow jokes.
I mean, I feel like that one's fairly universal.
Oh, sorry. No, you guys are good. So yeah, once that's done, she's just been sitting at her in the cockpit at the computer thing. When she's done with the finding the computer stuff, want me to find him? Okay. And she sort of pushes back, just sort of sits back for a moment and shuts her eyes.
All right.
And I am going to try and use foresee.
Okay, can you put the text of that as well as anything
absolutely
by your alignments?
Nothing is affected by the alignment of it in this one.
Yeah, I thought foresee was neutral, but I wasn't sure.
A fairly neutral one.
So, and then I have the strength upgrade, which means that I can pick out specific details equal to the number of strength upgrades purchased, which I have 1, and duration, so I have extra days. I am just trying to scan possible potential futures, see if I can figure out where.
All right.
So I know this is sort of.
That's a force roll.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Roll for that with your force.
So Is Lux like just like zoning out right now?
Yeah, she's just like, okay, I'll find him. Give me a second. And she just sort of sits back, closes her eyes, shuts her eyes, puts her hand sort of facing up, like resting on the armrests.
Anyone else seeing this shit?
I lean over, wave a hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Powder will be like,
Wow, what the?
I'm
these
not
are two
Oh, wait,
devices.
Wait,
force
that's
dice
horribly off.
on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You didn't roll any dice.
Didn't roll any actual dice.
I need to put a yeah.
No, I want to point out that this was a roll made with none of the standard dice, so that's why there's a lot of failures in it.
Yes.
Game Master, as a Mandalorian bounty hunter, do I recognize someone using the Force?
You can make me a difficulty 4 knowledge education check. Because this person is zoning out in a chair. They're not wielding a
Yeah.
fucking lightsaber.
2 failures. I got no fucking.
Although
clue
if
what's
you
going on.
look closely,
You recognize this. You're fairly confident. This is something called meditation that some people, even some Mandalorians, do to center themselves before difficult activity.
I just
You've
like
tried it. It makes you less angry, so you're not a fan. But yeah, you know your sister will occasionally like lean back in her chair and think for a few seconds before giving orders. You assume it is similar.
right.
so question.
Um,
Is this something that I can do as an extended role? I don't know. I didn't look close enough. I promised I was going to read this stuff,
Yeah.
and then we had a con.
yeah, I also was going to read this stuff and then had a con. I'm going to say in this instance, because you rolled what you rolled, you'll have to take the strain to.
Yes, I absolutely have to take the strain anyways.
Oh, are you not a light side?
I don't know. Am I not? No. So yeah, but so okay.
Fine.
Yeah, I take strain for taking the roll,
Yeah.
and then so I could do another take a strain to do another roll. Is what you're saying?
So when you take strain, John, correct me if I'm
So-
misremembering this because it's been a week
Yeah.
since I read it. When you take strain, essentially you rolled 2 light side points. You
Right.
can't use those without taking strain, but
Right.
essentially you take a strain and are like, I will use that light side point.
Yeah. And
It
it's a
just
strain
causes
per
me
each.
some emotional stress.
Right.
Yeah, it's a strain
Yeah.
per each. It's still a success. It's just that you
Yeah.
take strains for doing
You
it.
can choose to take 1 strain or 2 strain to get 1 or 2 successes on your roll.
I'm taking 2. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So yeah, no. My question is, can I do essentially an extended roll? Is that a thing where I can try like take extra time?
I'm gonna say not with this
Okay,
ability unless you're like taking a day of intense meditation
Right.
or something.
Makes sense. So
Um,
then in this case, I'm going to use one of those to extend a day,
okay.
and that one to power it, and then one to extend it a day, because odds are we're not finding them in the next 24 hours. But this might help give me an idea of like what direction. Basically, I'm just looking for a place to
Right.
start.
All right. So yeah, behind your eyes, as you can sort of feel the people moving around you, you're trying to focus in and is that strengthen thing automatic?
No, the strength all of these I have to spend force points
Okay.
for. So yeah, it is still vague hints.
Yeah. So your consciousness is running through, and mostly you're seeing symbols, shapes. You sort of come to focus on that Mandalorian's face. He's in somewhere dark with lights occasionally. Some dancer in the background, the flash of human colored skin, not just human, but human is one of them, of a sort of darker tan in color. You can see a logo that you recognize as the symbol of Crossroads. some flowing silk. And then you see a small ballet doll that's rotating in the center of your vision,
Okay.
turning to and fro, outlined by that the large symbol of Crossroads in the background.
Okay. So her eyes snap open. Do you know anybody? Do you know? I'm not from. It's been a while since I've been here. Do you know anywhere on Crossroads or anybody associated with Crossroads that does, let's just call it performance art?
Like a cantina.
I mean, there's a fighting arena, if that's what you're talking about.
More high end.
Would I
All
know
three of
anything?
you can make me a knowledge underworld check. Powder will get a boost die.
What's not high-end about fighting in a
But the
pit?
other two of you have been on Crossroads for extended periods of time.
You're adorable.
What difficulty?
Oh, actually, Lux also gets that boost die. 'cause
Okay.
Lux was there.
What difficulty?
Difficulty of 3, because this is a slightly weirdly laid out, and I don't think it's any of your area of expertise.
2 failures. It's
Well,
an intelligence
difficulty
roll.
on
It's not
boost?
my area of expertise no
Boost
matter
rank
what.
check.
Nope.
Because who
Difficulty
has an idea?
3.
Failure 3 advantage.
1 boost die.
Ares doesn't think, Ares shoots.
1 success.
So we're gonna start with Powder. You have no idea. Ares, you know that a lot of the bars have dancing people and stuff, but that's never been your focus. You've mostly been focused on the drinks and the punching. You're now kind of wondering about where might have racing, pod races.
I mean, unless you're talking about pod racing, in which case there might be a couple of places.
Because now you're interested in that. You weren't necessarily when you were last here, but
Yeah, that's the thing.
you're imagining there's a few. You can't quite remember. But that's your focus. So Sai, what you would know, you'd know that there's a few different places that have dancers, other entertainment, and you know primarily because, well, going to a bar for entertainment makes great cover. So if you're talking with someone,
Yeah.
especially someone that's not supposed to be talking to you, we're both here to gawk at boobs is a great excuse.
The reason I'm there is right in front of both of us.
Yes.
Yep.
It makes a great cover story. So yeah, you'd know a few of the bars. You can't think of any specific bar that like you would know from the vague description Lux gave, but you could find the ones that are there.
Like narrow it down to like 3 that I know of or something like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know which of the bars have dancers and entertainers. Look,
Okay.
as you're thinking about it, the day you guys first came to Crossroads, in one of the major areas, he sat down to have a conversation and ultimately a fight because Praz got uppity in one of the bars, and that one did have dancers. Specifically, you guys you might remember that specifically all of the dancers at that place were human, which freaked you guys out a little bit.
Was this the place where Praz got shot by like 11 people at once?
Yes.
Yes.
I remember that place.
Okay.
Fond
So
memories.
that might be something that you think of with the success on that roll.
Well, I know a few places that have dancers.
I can think. Suddenly I could. Yeah. Yeah, that could be it. And
I
that
know
place
that-
was on Crossroads.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know of at least 3 or 4, so I mean it narrows it down from all the other locations, but
Sai, I want you to make me a negotiation check because you are the one most likely to know this. Difficulty of 2. Yeah. There you go.
triumph.
Yeah, 2 successes, 2 advantages, and a triumph. As you're thinking about like going to places on Crossroads and your previous experience having worked as a negotiator specifically at Crossroads, you'd know that one of the big things about it is it tends to be neutral ground.
Right.
Enforcers for Crossroads are good and tend to get backup from everyone there. And it's a no fighting space. It's a no faction space.
Yep.
The
Right.
Empire can walk past people that are openly flying rebellion colors, and best they can do is grit their teeth and walk in the other direction.
Right. It's a perfect place to hide out in terms of not very easily getting caught.
No, that makes sense. All he had to do was get off the fucking ship.
Yeah, and he
And
had an
his
entire ship
smartest
at his
move-
back.
His smartest move is not to leave Crossroads at this point until we do.
Or at least hide out until he knows that we have left.
Yeah.
So, how do we go about marching across the ship that is Crossroads, the mini ships, to get someone while we know that's literally the one rule we're not supposed to break?
I don't care.
All of the guys with many more guns than us do.
You don't
I
want to start a
really
fight
don't
on
care.
this.
You are
There's
immensely
a smart
impressive in combat, Ares, but this is not one we can win.
Ares, sweetie.
In order for them, let me put it to you this way. In order for him to call for guards to back him up, it means he has to survive my initial volley of fire, right? If he's nothing but boots smoking on the ground, there's not really a fight to break up anymore now, is there?
Yes, it is the act of the murder that is there. That so then you I mean, are you willing to die to kill this one individual?
Yes.
He's a Mandalorian, of course he is. But okay, Ares,
Doesn't
I'm not saying that this is not a really, really attractive look for you. But think about this. Is he really gonna stay here for fucking ever?
Ares, you would know that someone with your skill set has a lot of trouble making money on Crossroads. You can do arena fighting, especially if you're willing to risk your life at it. But other than that, most of the jobs necessitate leaving because you can't do the tracking down people here. You have to go around to track people down.
All we have to do is wait until he leaves. That's it.
You can definitely see the set jaw and like the pulsing vein in the forehead.
Or
This is part of the hunt.
if
Right.
you really, how specific are the law? It's specifically no fighting, right?
No fighting, no conflicts, no starting trouble. You can
I-
negotiate, you can get a meeting with
So
someone
if you
who
were
can-
to, for example, make somebody suggestible and lure them off of Crossroads, that would not violate the rules?
If we're not on Crossroads, I think we would be fine. I've worked here for quite some time, wheeling and dealing in negotiations set around finding loopholes in words. If it doesn't happen on the bevy of ships that is Crossroads, it is not under Crossroads law, at least to my understanding.
You have a plan for getting him off Crossroads then?
We entice him with
How
something he
good
would
are you-
want.
I assume that you know this guy.
Yes. I say, tapping my arm again.
Yeah, I would, but
We used to be partners.
again, Okay, so is he particularly, how's the way to put it, strong-willed?
Really depends on how you look at it. Both
That's the
yes and
worst
no.
answer. Um,
He's a gutless, spineless coward, but he's very determined to be a gutless, spineless coward.
would he be resistant to, say,
How did you know he was in a dance bar?
That's actually true. You just sort of sat back and zoned out for a minute.
did they not know?
I have not mentioned you to them before now.
No, what?
Oh yeah, no, that's fair. They don't know that they didn't know that I owned the ship. So, okay, that works. All right. Before I answer that question,
Your information was not mine to give.
that's legit, and I appreciate that. So I'm sure you're pretty good because you rebellion. That's fine. Powder. Has Ares done anything that would make him that would make the Empire angry at him and would make him unlikely to go to them to provide information?
Oh, do I have stories for you, mate?
That's great, but I'm asking the person I trust.
Powder, as far as you know, Ares is pretty anti-empire as
Yeah.
like as loyaltyless mercenaries who follow the Mandalorian code go, he's pretty anti-empire.
Okay. Powder will like the eyes will spin for a moment. I do not believe he would ever go to the Empire.
Sweet.
I
So
mean,
she just
they make the best fights. It's not really good if you have to work for folks that you like to fight against.
I like the way you think. So she just reaches behind, pulls out this curved saber hilt, and tosses it over to Sai.
Okay, well, here's
Oh.
another one of these fucking things.
That is new.
Yeah,
This
I
is-
made it. It's
Oh, hey, that looks like the thing that what's-his-face had, Vice, so, yeah.
wait. You guys ran into him again?
So you would know him as Raven, but it's
Yeah, you
fine.
know him
We'll
as
shortcut.
Yeah.
Again?
I-
I mean, he was in, well, I will describe him physically and where we found him.
The first time, not again.
For me, I think it was again.
Yeah, it was again for you. Remember he was on the place that I was being held at?
Yes.
Like, working?
Yeah,
Was,
he's a little bit crazy.
Why was that not mentioned during the
It was.
meeting?
Powder will kind of look at Sai, point at their head, and go, "Issues." He
Okay.
gave a different name.
I mean, it
To be
seems
fair,
really
if
weird
it's-
that someone, like, just escapes from one place and gets captured again in another.
If it's Raven, it certainly sounds like him. I wouldn't put it past him to. Yeah, don't worry about.
So
You
are
didn't
you-
put
Did
him
you drop
towards
him?
anybody. You didn't put him with anybody that you're particularly attached to, right?
I mean, he's off the ship now, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, no, he's not here.
Yeah.
anymore.
Who is he? Can someone answer that question?
That's a really complex question. I think he's a Sith, or was a Sith. Is a
What, like the old fairy tale stories that you told to scare children, Sith?
no, more like the real things that inspired those stories and are utterly fucking terrifying.
Okay, so he's a lunatic cleric that practices an old religion that no one else follows. What makes that so dangerous?
I believe the word lunatic
Well,
makes that so dangerous.
Yes, but sane people are also
here, and
dangerous.
she takes the lightsaber back. So most people, vroom, when they get their hands on one of these things and they try to use it, they chop their arms off, and it's really funny.
Yes, he looked like he really didn't quite know what to do with it when he turned his on.
What color is the lightsaber?
It's purple.
Okay. Just checking.
People who are trained in how to do this, Jedi, Sith, me, so on and so forth, can do absolutely terrifying things with them. And
Okay.
also he has abilities that he can use through the Force.
He's not very good at it. He failed on me.
Give him time. I'm just saying,
So
is he?
Are you
as
saying I
long as
should have
he-
shot
As long
him?
as he's on his own, or nobody pisses him off, I'm sure it'll be fine.
So you're going really high concept here. Do I need to shoot him the next time I see him or not?
I don't know.
Okay, let's focus on
I'll
what's
let you
table
know
that
when we
then.
get there. But yes,
Yeah.
regardless. So
I have
I
a question.
Yes.
You said Sith, Jedi, and me. What are you?
Other. So
No, that's not
There's
good
no-
enough. You just explained that we should fear you because of your boom boom
no.
score. So,
I said I
what
can
are you?
carry
Boom, boom,
things, but all right.
You have dug a hole that I'm very curious about now.
So the whole binary duality thing is bullshit.
Fair?
Somewhere,
Yes,
Sen,
binary is
somewhere, Sen is clapping.
So you've got you've got the Puritan assholes on this side who are mostly dead, and you've got the evil psycho rage monsters on this side that are mostly dead.
Yeah.
Huh?
I was gonna just addendum that they're also mostly dead.
That are mostly dead. I'm about here. Here. Don't worry. I'm on your side. I'm particularly on your side because I like where your political allegiances lie.
Okay,
I've been doing it's a long story, but the short of it is I've been helping out the cause since I got off this ship.
I mean, I don't doubt that. I'm just,
In pretty major ways.
the one with the lightsaber is the one saying, "Don't worry."
I trust Lux with my
I mean,
life.
you can hold the lightsaber if you want. Just as long as you give it back to me should we get into a fight. If that makes you feel better.
No, it's more of a, I'll feel more comfortable as I get to know you. Not
Yeah, no,
necessarily
that's legit. That's legit.
As I eye all of the weapons that are on Ares.
So, you're right. So,
May I see the lightsaber?
All
Yeah,
the
sure.
weapons that are Ares.
Yeah.
so
Alright, so
the short of it is, because I don't know how familiar either of you two are with Zeltrons.
How familiar am I with Zeltrons?
you can affect minds a little bit, correct?
You got
Aaron,
pheromone.
you want
You
to
got-
check that you can use knowledge xenology difficulty 3 as their pretty unusual race.
While this is happening, Powder is going to try to memorize the look of this lightsaber.
I don't know much about Zeltron other than they have pink skin. Failure and a threat.
One failure isn't not enough to not be aware that they are a race, but you don't know any details. They're not common enough.
Let's just. Our planet is, or was, I don't know, I haven't been back there in quite a while, but not since the Empire took it over. It's a long story. I've got a long, complicated history, but we're a happy place. And part of that is because of us. So yeah, we have a pheromone thing that we do. Also, I can influence people's minds because of the Force. So those work together really, really well. I am moderately sure if this guy is not used to dealing with people who can affect his mind, that I can get him off of Crossroads.
Okay. Well, I guess let's go bar hop.
Works for me.
So
After Powder memorizes the look of the lightsaber, they'll hand it back and say, "One question: Where
shoot.
is Sen?" And
I'm sure
Yeah.
he's fine. He's out there somewhere. So, okay. The long story. We ended up sort of doing different things. I have a particular skill set. Sen has a particular skill set.
I am aware.
Sen is not quite as good as at getting onto Imperial ships, seducing the captain, and then, planting explosives and things like that while he's asleep.
This is true. He
That-
needs more practice.
Sin is not a very sexual individual.
No.
In any way, shape, or form.
No. So yeah, he's out there. He's fine. I haven't talked to him in a while, but
And where is the intern?
Darius, he
Yes.
is perfectly happy. He is doing some work for the rebellions, for doing the kind of stuff that he's always kind of wanted to do. Experimental things and stuff like that. He's amazing. I adore him, but he's doing his thing. I'm doing mine. Ports in a storm.
I am glad that he is still alive.
Yeah, no, he's great. He'd be happy to see you, I'm sure.
This has been a lovely reunion. Can we move on?
Yep.
Would you like a drink?
No, I'm good actually. I've been cutting way, way back.
And Powder is immediately going to start doing a medicine check to make sure.
Medicine check.
Like, is this actually Lux now? What would the difficulty on that be? Like, just
2, I guess.
okay. 2 advantage.
Seems to be Lux. Beyond that, there's probably some new scars. You don't see anything notable with a cursory scan.
All right. Powder will do the scan, like,
Yep.
Interesting.
None of us can roll today.
No, apparently not.
I'm rolling great.
Yeah, that's it.
I haven't tried to shoot anybody yet. That's why.
All right, which one of the 3 bars do we want to go to first?
Well, I'm guessing. So, Powder, do you remember when we tried to go? Remember when it wasn't when we were first here. It was pretty close to when we were first here. And Praz did won a ton of, or lost a bunch of money gambling.
I believe so.
And decided to be stupid about it.
That is
And like, hey, that's my money. Give it back, you 8 people, you. And then followed them outside and proceeded to get his ass handed to him in spectacular fashion.
Yes, I
That
do
sounds
believe
like
I remember
Praz.
that. Yes.
I think that's a good place to start.
He actually did get pickpocketed.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh.
He was trying to buy information with like 5 credits. Everyone around him said no, and then someone decided to try and steal his credits.
He was doing the thing where he walks into a bar, holds up a cred stick, and says, "Hey, I want information. I have money."
Yeah. He was being Praz.
Yep. So, yeah.
So, Yarrick would not go well seeing me behind you. At the same time, we don't want you guys to get jumped by 8 people. So I guess I'll follow at a distance and stay outside.
That sounds like a probably decent idea.
I do not believe I have been banned from that bar.
I know I haven't.
Oh
Let
yeah,
us
no,
proceed.
that's right. You have been banned from at least one bar, haven't you, Powder?
Why did you get banned from a bar?
Cutting people's hair without permission.
I will bring you up to speed on the.
Yeah, I'm going to put a pin in that one.
It was a good story.
I mean, a
All
funny
right.
story.
We head to the bar. Or,
Okay.
And if Lux will let them, Powder will try to explain as concisely as possible all of the stuff that happened with their brain
Cool.
on the walk.
Yeah, you get a summary of what Corey was pretty involved with, but yeah, I
Right.
cut someone's hair and we decided that it was a bad idea for me to randomly assault people because of my compulsion. So there was also a dude and
we took the thing out of my head. I'll show it to you later.
Fair enough.
but we're not gonna do too much of that right now because you are on the way to a bar. It's not too hard to find. It's one of the more central marketplaces off to the side. There's a dimly lit bar in the back. Aries, I assume you said you're staying outside?
Yeah, I'm staying outside at a distance on a rooftop if possible.
Yeah. Well, you're on a ship right now. You can go to the layer above and watch over the balcony,
Yeah,
but
like,
aren't really rooftops
however,
inside.
however it's physically structured that resembles whatever it needs to be for me to be a
Yeah,
level up and
it's
back.
like, yeah, you're essentially, if you've ever been to a mall cafeteria where there's a layer of the mall that's above that, and
Yeah.
there's a little overhanging look thing.
I'll hang out at my favorite store in the Citadel.
nice.
One laugh's all I need.
I'm ignoring that and moving on. So yeah, the other 3 of you, I assume, are all headed in.
Yep.
Yes.
It's pretty late at this point, so the bar is rather crowded. There's a number of different human dancers. Lux, you do catch that flash of a woman's hand near the front of the bar that matches the one in your vision. Dark-skinned woman, fairly human skin tone if you get a closer look. Otherwise, seems like human features. You're still a distance away, but you guys going. There's booths off to one side. There's a rather crowded dance floor. There's the bar stool area in front of the bar proper. Another woman, also human, like more slight than the woman dancing at the front, but dressed similarly in what is apparently this bar's uniform. Oh, would you like you could see at the bar her booth? What can I get for you?
Oh, when you said, I'm sorry, you said she's close to the bar, correct?
The woman's in front of the dance floor.
In front of the dance floor. Sorry. Is there an open booth that is fairly close to her?
Yeah.
How about that one, dear?
Of course. There's this way.
Awesome.
And she'll put some menus with limited food options and a much wider selection of drinks, though most of them are mixed drinks that have fairly generic ingredients. I'll be back around in a minute. Feel free to flag any of us down. own. She'll give you a slight wave and head back off.
Wonderful. So yeah, she leans back. Well, I believe we are in the right direction at least. We definitely saw her.
So do your abilities say that he's coming here, that he is here?
Yeah, I wish it were that simple. Future's not that. It's I can see ahead. Vaguely.
I guess I'll take it.
Unfortunately, it's not a very future's mutable. I assume that, as you can imagine.
Makes sense. Let's take a look, and I'm going to take a
Yeah.
look around and see if he is here first and
Keep an
foremost.
eye out for our Mandalorian, but I think it's probably more than likely he's not here currently, and she might know where. Because I definitely saw her.
All right. I'll take vigilance checks from everyone, I guess. Difficulty 2. Not for Ares because he is outside at the moment, but I will get back to Ares with whatever he might want to do.
Vigilance.
One advantage.
All right.
Wait a minute. Oh.
2 successes and 2 threat.
Difficulty.
So I'll start with Sai while that's rolling.
Sorry.
So
Wash.
Lux, you're trying to match things to your vision. You don't see much silk, nothing that quite matches the snatch in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see any of that. So right now you're mostly just trying to concentrate on, visions never happen how you expect. Looking too hard for the signs
Right.
make it go worse than you'd like.
Yep.
So yeah, most of your concentration is occupied with sort of keeping hold of those images, but not following them too much.
Right.
Sai, you don't see him looking around, and you notice it sort of offhandedly that the barkeep, the woman dancing, the few waitresses that wander around, all human, which is, a little unusual, but not drastically so. It's probably a little more notable to you because often, especially in slightly seedier places like Crossroads, the waitresses tend to be Twi'lek.
Right.
It's a little bit like, you're not currently objectifying my species. That is notably unusual.
Yeah. It's instead of infuriating, it's just now confusing.
Yeah. But that's something that catches your attention. Powder, it's mostly what you're sort of, it's coming back to you that you've been to this bar before. It wasn't that crowded then. There's quite a few people here. No one that catches your attention, no one that seems Mandalorian. But you're keeping a pretty good eye out. You're fairly confident that you would have spotted him if he was here right now.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I guess we're just going to order some drinks and play the waiting game.
Okay.
Well, that's definitely order some drinks.
We don't have force power, so if all we have options wise is to play the waiting game.
No. I know. And she'll stand up. She's like, Order me something. I'm going to be a little bit, but I will hopefully be back. And keep your eye out for any sort of trouble.
Got it.
All right. So as that's all happening inside, Aries, you've set up outside. I'm going to ask you for a vigilance check as well, difficulty 2, as you're sort of scanning the crowd from above.
Div 2 Vigilante. Flat roll.
So with a flat roll, you're keeping a decent eye out. Your focus is probably on the entrance to the bar mostly, because you don't necessarily know what you're looking for other than Garrick.
Yeah.
But you don't spot him. You don't spot any. Well, you spot some Mandalorian armor, but clearly not him. Just like
he doesn't have his.
a couple of guys. Doesn't seem like your clan or anyone you know.
And I'm also trying to do so subtly. I'm trying to not stand out as much as I normally do.
Okay. Make me. I guess this can be a stealth roll.
What difficulty?
Yeah. Just make me a flat stealth roll, difficulty 2. That'll set a baseline for
2
how well
successes and a threat.
Yeah. Like, you're not hiding behind anything, so it's not like you're invisible. But yeah, you're pretty subtle. You really just look like maybe you're waiting for someone, maybe you're just bored or don't feel like being down in the crowd.
Not trying to be invisible, just trying to not stand out.
Yeah, and honestly, you look enough like a typical bounty hunter that you're not an unusual sight.
Yeah.
You're not worth a lot of people's time and attention. I mean, because you can't shoot them here.
Yeah.
And none of them are currently looking to hire you.
Sadly, that argument doesn't work with Aries.
I mean, they don't know it doesn't work.
Aries does have a sense of self-preservation, and he does have a sense that starting a firefight on Crossroads, you've lived here long enough to know that if some guy comes up to you and bumps against you, you're not gonna start a
No, like even if we weren't,
with him, but you're not gonna
even if we
you're not
weren't
gonna
on,
break the peace.
even if we weren't on
Yeah.
Crossroads, I wouldn't kill somebody for bumping into me. Yarick, I don't care about. Everyone else, that's a different story.
But like you know, bounty hunters that generally would, but wouldn't here.
Yeah.
That's the general.
Mhm.
But then we're going to transition back to the club and the lights for Lux.
All right, so Lux is going to stand up, make a slow walk around them so it doesn't look like I'm going straight up. Like stand up, walk straight to her. And so okay, she's near the floor. She looked like she's paying like.
We'll check.
Okay.
Difficulty of 2.
Two. That is a success and 2 advantages. Like what is?
Yeah. So she's a little bit away from the other dancers. You'll see that occasionally she'll like beckon someone up on stage, dance with them for a bit. There's a pretty like loud throng of club and general dance floor between you two at the moment because you're making your way around. She's attentive. That's the thing you notice more than anything. Like she's not just attentive, like I'm doing my job, I'm getting good tips, but she is very aware of everyone here. Actually, with 2 advantages, you notice that about most of the bar staff.
Right.
You remember that from before as well.
Yep.
They're just a little too good.
So yeah, I will sort of cut through the crowd. Head up try to engage her onto the dance floor.
That's easy enough. I'm not going to make you roll for it because she's watching for signs and you know what to do.
Right.
So yeah, she sort of glides off of the slightly lifted area, heads over sort of in your direction, even though you called her not necessarily headed directly to you, but to the throng around you.
And I am just going to, while dancing, sort of engage her in conversation.
Yeah.
I'm essentially trying to sort of feel out like how willing she is to provide information and start trying to essentially push as I do.
Okay. Is there a specific role or ability?
So here's the fun part of it. With influence, I have let's see, let me find it. I have the control ability that when I make a coercion, charm, deception, leadership, or negotiation check, I can roll an influence power check as part of the pool. And force points add to successes. Success or advantage, my choice per point.
Right. Which of those checks do you feel like making? Because they'd all be...
I mean, charm's going to be the obvious one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am essentially trying to get her to let her guard down, or sort of feel comfortable talking, and potentially provide the information that I need.
Sure.
So I add a force point to this, and it's charm, so I get the advantage difficulty 2, I assume.
That sounds right. Yeah, because it's going to be a contested roll.
Okay.
She gets a cool roll to...
I assume she's probably good at.
Yeah, she is. She's not you, but she is. Suggestion for Roll20 to make non-combat NPC focused NPC tables.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, you also get that your force thing.
Yes. So, well, I haven't rolled my. So I was weighing difficulty 2.
Yeah. Yes, difficulty 2 for the. All right.
So there's a success.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I assume you're spending that as a success.
Yes.
All right.
And 4 advantages.
With 1 success and 4 advantages, you've definitely got her at a bit of a disadvantage in terms of this, and you managed to hold her attention. You notice she's still trying to keep an eye on the rest of the area, but she is pretty engaged with you.
And this is full on passes being made and that sort of thing.
With 1 success, to some extent, she is on shift right now.
Right.
So she's only inclined to go so far as what her job entails.
Which is fair. She's not trying to Lux is not trying to push it past that.
But yeah, with 4 advantages, I may have lost track of this. What specifically are you trying to ask for?
I am basically trying to get her guard down enough that she is willing to provide information, such as, have you seen this individual?
Sure. Yeah. With 4 advantages, you don't necessarily get a direct success margin, but you get a lot of things around that. You don't get the sense she's seen Well, she's seen a few Mandalorian bounty hunters today, but no one that would necessarily match the description you have of Yarek.
Okay.
Guy with half his face burned off came in earlier. A little bit of a hottie. But you do get the general sense, with Core Advantages, that she's sort of probing back. She's trying to find out what you might know or what you might want to share.
So I am going to present this in a. This is somebody that I have caused. Now that I've got her on my good side,
Mm-hmm.
this is somebody I have cause to be concerned about. I don't want to get too much into the details because details aren't good at this, aren't good on this place. I know this place well enough to know that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's just say we've had some encounters in the past, and I've heard that he's here on Crossroads. And I know Crossroads is a safe place, but what people don't see, it's only illegal if you get caught. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can.
If you
I'll
see
let
him.
the other girls know to keep a lookout.
All right, if you see him,
We look after our own.
yeah, please, and I will pass some
Yeah,
contact information.
sure.
Let me know.
Okay. She remains dancing for a little bit, if you're done at that point. And
Yes.
heads back to the stage. You do notice a few minutes afterwards, she seems to make some sort of hand sign to one of the others wandering around, who sort of taps out with her on the stage,
Cool.
and she heads towards the back.
Yeah, I
You
head
can
back
make
over.
assumptions based on that your message is getting
Yeah.
back.
I head back over to the table, take a seat. Well, the information network has begun.
Okay.
If the dancers here see him, they're gonna contact me.
Okay. So do
That way
we?
we can start checking other places and not have to just sit here in the one of many bars in Crossroads and hope this is the one that he came to.
Lux, sort of minute or two after you've sat down at the table, before you guys fully get your stuff together and start leaving, refills for your drinks come out.
Okay.
The waitress is the same woman that you spoke to before,
Right.
and she'll sort of set down the drinks, and in your drink there's a little plastic, one of those drink markers, essentially in the shape
Right.
of a ballerina doll.
Okay.
And you notice there's also a small card under your drink. Girls, like, enjoy the refills. Girls, please let us know if there's anything we can help with. And
Thank you.
she'll
Give her a
say-
wink.
Looking at the sort of business card, it's just a card for the club, but on the back it says, "No one's seen him yet. We'll keep you updated."
Okay. Well,
Okay.
I got people watching this.
Yeah, head to another location.
Yep. Somebody want to go retrieve our.
I'll go get 'em.
Jack.
So just to shortcut this a bit, Aries, you are collected. The
Yeah.
group of you are planning to head to a different bar.
We are going to head to one of the other possible places. Is there a way? I'm assuming that this is Crossroads, since this is Crossroads in there. Is there a way to keep an eye out for, like, from the ship, have the ship track ships that are departing?
Yes and no. Like,
I'm assuming you don't have to
There's
file a
private hangar bays.
Mm-hmm.
There's the public hangar bay that you guys tend to use because it's cheaper, or even though we've not been doing budgeting for it, I don't care. And there's the private hangar bays that a lot of very wealthy people use that no one would know, essentially. And then there's like public shuttles,
Right.
more things that are more like shady buses that
Okay.
and you can track the public bay and the buses easily enough from your ship. But there are the private hangars.
So I will say I will if I can do this remotely through datapad. Awesome. If we have to go back really quick, I will say I will catch up with you guys really quick, and I will set the ship to keep track and keep a log of which ships leave. If there's, I know that once it hits hyperspace, it's hard to tell where it went, but like see if it can get like transponder, registrations and things like that. So it gives us an idea of.
Sure, just like a leaving sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This ship registered as this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With this thing, this
a lot
transponder
of
code
these
or whatever.
ships are probably not going to be registered or not going to have full codes, but
of course
you can keep track of what you can.
Yeah. And if it looking like this,
yeah,
blah 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 blah.
You want to know how many wannabe Millennium Falcons are around?
I mean, wannabe Millennium Falcons that might have Mandalorians on, but yes.
Yeah, that's fair.
They won't tell me which ones have Mandalorians on them, so all the Millennium Falcons will have to do.
Sure. Yeah, so you set that up, and the group of you eventually reconvene to head to the next bar that Sai knows of. Again, it's getting into the time where a bar crawl happens. This one is quieter than the last bar you were at. It's a little bit off to the side. There's beaded curtains everywhere. Just far too many beaded curtains. Even like each of the booths has a beaded curtain in front of it, and it's not like it gives you any level of anonymity. It's just that apparently they decided that was aesthetic. Sort of loud drum music. There isn't as much dancing at this one, but there are sort of off to the side a stage with several people, mostly Twi'lek women, dancing on about three women. All actually at this point they'd all be Twi'lek. It sort of dancing. There's Doug behind the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Not Tunguska, just because that's a question that always comes up.
Other Doug. Fair enough.
Yeah, there's a few other people in here.
Just find a place to post up and wait for a little bit, see if anything happens.
Yep.
Sure.
I'll be
Vigilance
outside again.
From Aries is going out again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Vigilance checks from everyone. Aries, yours will be separate, but they're all difficulty too. It's only separate because you're looking at a different thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
If he's here, I see him.
2 successes and an advantage.
Wash.
Advantage.
All right. So powder. These drinks are not as healthy as the ones at the other bar. Lux, we'll get to you in a second.
Okay.
Aries, outside. This area of Crossroads is a little less occupied. You're still keeping a fairly stealthy, sort of from a distance demeanor, or from a higher level. You see a few of the sort of guards that wander through Crossroads. You're rarely somewhere where there's none of them in sight. You see a few people that seem to be meeting up to discuss something. None of them you recognize. You do spot someone with a cloak over their head. No discernible features from the distance you're at, darting into the back of this establishment. About a few minutes after the rest of you head in.
Did they look were they very obviously humanoid in size, or were they like a Wookiee wearing a cloak on their head?
If you had to ballpark a size, it'd be humanoid but that is sort of the middle of the height range.
Yeah.
So it could be a very short Wookiee or very young Wookiee, or just
But wasn't something like an Athorian with the weird slug head or
nothing that would give away a very specific racial identity from what you saw. But then again, you're sort of across the street and up a level. So most of what you can ballpark is size.
Yeah. If I can, using my jetpack, or however I need to get to a better position to sort of see the back of the building, I will try to move around to do that.
Okay. I want you to make me a stealth check.
Yep.
With a setback die, because jetpacks are pretty loud in general.
I mean, if I need to use the jetpack. If I don't need to use the jetpack, I won't. But...
I mean, you'd need to use a jetpack to get on top over towards the back.
Yeah.
You can also just head over there, but then you'd be at ground level.
Yeah. Setback in what difficulty?
Difficulty of 3.
Okay.
Because this isn't going to just be an opposed scroll. This is a flat starter.
Yeah. 2 successes and an advantage.
Okay. Yeah. You have enough experience to sort of hop over to where you can see around towards the back, without anyone noticing that there's someone flying in the corridors. It's generally not recommended, but a lot of people do it anyways.
It's less about the flying and more about the getting to an appropriate velocity that you can shut the jetpack off and glide.
But you are watching that, and as that happens, Sai, you're keeping a very close eye on this bar. Like I said, the beaded curtains might obscure your vision a bit, but they don't actually provide much anonymity to the people in the other stalls. You definitely notice things trading hands aside from drinks. Often this bartender will be sort of palming something to someone as he hands them their drink. But no one that matches the description you're looking for. Like, polyjuice potions aren't really a Star Wars thing, so it's unlikely he's palming them polyjuice potions.
Yeah, no. I guess I'll just keep an eye out.
Sorry. But about 5 minutes into you guys casing this place, Lux, your communicator beeps.
Hello.
Hey, we talked earlier.
Yes.
Okay. We spotted him. He was here for about 3 minutes. We had one of the girls on him the whole time. Didn't seem like he caused any trouble. Talked to a Weequay guy and left. His friend's still here, but I don't know where he went.
His friend. Describe his friend for me.
Weequay.
Okay.
Braided hair. Looks not a regular, but sort of looks like a contacts type. I don't know if they actually know each other. They just met at a bar and started talking.
Right.
Got
Perfect.
sort of a rainbow braid.
You are the best. Thank you. Try to keep them there if you can. I need to. We're gonna be
Of course.
awesome. We need to go.
Okay. We grab Ares.
Yep.
Group of you head back to the other bar because I didn't plan this very well. No, I just thought you were gonna do something else. My hey, we're 50 some episodes in. I've learned to not anticipate.
Legit.
Yeah. As we head back to the main bar, Aries, I assume you're posting back up at the second level, or
Yep.
are you heading in at this point?
Yep.
Okay.
Keeping an eye out from outside.
All right. Three of you head back in. Corey, that's the first time I've done
First
it.
time. Okay, we got the first time, folks.
I went almost 2 hours. Lux, you do spot because of the information you have almost immediately. One of the women who's tending the bar, seemingly in some sort of deep conversation, at least feigning a great deal of attention to one of the bar patrons who has that sort of almost mummified skin of a Weequay, and as was mentioned before, a long sort of mohawk French braid in seemingly dyeing his hair rainbow colors. He's got what looks sort of like merchant or trader garb, heavy cloth. He probably has a weapon. It doesn't look like it's anything special.
Okay.
And yeah, he seems to be chatting with and not noticing you guys occupied with this one.
Right. So yeah, I will. Fucking weak way. Okay, I will make my way over. Give the who's talking to just a little nod as if to say, I'm assuming they're in the know as to what's going on.
Yeah,
like,
she definitely like meets
here.
your eyes and makes her excuses to the guy about, oh, I'll be right back. Just gotta help the other group. And gives you some space to
Awesome.
meet up with him, start a conversation if you want.
Yep. Yeah, sort of take a spot next to him and just sort of, like I'm just picking that spot for the moment.
Fair enough.
And
Powder Sai, what are you up to as? Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Powder Sai, as this is happening, what are you two doing?
Did Lux tell us anything going into this
conversation? He would have given the heads up as they were heading there.
Well, as in like how Lux wanted to handle the conversation.
This is the new, let's get this guy on the ship, and then whatever happens on the ship happens on the ship.
Okay, then Sai posts up on the opposite side of the Weequay.
Okay.
Boxing him in.
Is there only one door to this place?
There's probably another two in the back.
All right. Powder is going to stand in a spot where they can see the front door as well as like wherever, like behind the bar, wherever a secondary door might be.
Sure.
And just kind of pay attention.
Powder the bouncer.
What else is coming? Yeah.
Okay.
I will internally in my internal comms kind of whisper to Ares that we've got the individual that was talking and we're going to see if we can get this guy on the ship.
All right.
Just at least kind of keeping Ares in on what's happening.
As the two of you sort of take your places, both being fairly subtle while boxing him in. After about, like, are either of you doing anything immediately, I guess.
I just sit down for a moment, look over at him, smile a little bit. Haven't. Can I ask you something?
Sure, dear. What do you want to know?
I'm fairly new to. Okay, so this is my first time being on Crossroads. Like being on
Oh.
Crossroads.
Oh, darling, you don't need to be so whispery about it right here. Here. Lovely meeting newcomers, always, always. So what do you need? What can a local give
okay.
you?
I've got okay, I don't mean to sound like I'm generalizing here, but so like I knew from I grew up on, and I throw out the name of an outer rim planet that is well enough that somebody would know it but know nothing about it.
Fair enough.
I grew up there, and the person growing up there, I knew this is actually really good luck. I knew a Weequay who was really, really good with uh, mechanic things. And I'm in a really tough situation. I'm not trying to say all Weequay are, but maybe you are. And I am in a really tough situation right now. Um, my ship's not in the best of condition, and do you think maybe you could take a look at it and see if, and I am simply trying to project fucking Mark for any.
You know what? Let me see what role would be best for that.
I am basically trying to project, please come to my ship and rob me.
Yeah, this deception. There's nothing else that this would be.
All right. Well, I'm gonna throw in. I am definitely using influence on this.
Use the force.
Yep.
Let it flow
Diff
through
2,
you.
right?
Yeah, difficulty 2 because it's contested.
Nothing else there. So there's 2 success and like 70 bajillion advantages.
Okay, 70 bajillion's an exaggeration. I think that's 6 or 7.
That is 6.
Still an exceptional advantage.
As well as 1 force point that is dark-sided.
Yeah, which I believe
Which is going into the success, yeah.
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 I'm a bad person hitting the lottery right now.
You see him sort of, I've been out of that game for quite a while. I'm stylist, but I do know something about ships. I can try.
Would you? And I lean over, like grab his arm. I would love that so much if you could just take a look and maybe see, what's going on with it.
No, he technically should get a roll against this. It's not that he can roll that well, but technically.
Be just my luck, he gets like 7 successes somehow. Motherfucker.
So, Lux, you are good enough to know that he's not entirely buying exactly what you're selling.
Okay.
You can tell that he has been around enough times to know what too good to be true is,
Okay.
and that he doesn't necessarily have the skills to back up the con you are setting up for him. But at the same time, with that many advantages on a contested roll, you're definitely still pulling him along. Maybe it's your powers, maybe it's something else that he doesn't quite understand, but you're definitely getting him to be like, I'll go along with this. Wait,
The
isn't that wrong?
pheromones are clouding his judgment.
Yeah. He doesn't seem to necessarily be pausing, but he definitely notices that there's something off about the story, but seems to be going with it anyways. That's the best you can do with the differential at this point.
And I am just going to try to draw him back onto the ship.
Okay.
I will be following. Once I see Lux leaving with somebody, I'm basically following at a distance, and then wanting to become the wall of meat between him and the exit once we're on the ship.
Okay. Yeah. Powder Sigh, anything you're going to do as this happens?
I just being there, hearing all of it, I let Lux leave, give some distance. I grab Powder, fill Powder in on how the conversation went, and we travel from a slight distance as well.
All right.
So to not tip this guy off at all, basically.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So eventually, Lux, you talk this guy onto your ship. Aries, just make me a stealth roll as you come in behind.
What difficulty?
So presumably you're saying, oh, the problem is right over here. Or...
What difficulty?
2.
2? All right.
Yeah, I'm pulling him back towards the engine room.
I'm going to use a light side, just so
Go
that
ahead.
just for because no one's used any yet.
That's
This
true.
game.
That's
So-
true. I should have been using those.
Just want to,
You know what? Someone roll me a d20. There's
Okay.
a random event that may occur in this situation.
1 success, 2 advantage, and a triumph.
9.
Yeah. So as you and this man are approaching the engine room, a droid that you've definitely actually no, you met because Rainbow was on the ship at the
Yep.
point.
Absolutely.
Rainbow sort of whirls by, looks this person up and down, and then gestures excitedly at this person, and with no other context, me. He sort of looks over. You have a fascinating droid.
That's Rainbow. Rainbow is a little bit quirky. Come on, you'll see. There's smoke. There's smoke coming out of one of the pieces of engine. You'll see this.
Make me another deception just to.
Okay.
see
I mean, if it doesn't work,
how
he's
you
close
can
enough
put-
on the ship that we could start beating him unconscious.
Oh yeah, no, he's like we're
He's
at the point,
already on your ship, but I just want to see how far you manage to push this.
we're at the point where I can just go grab, smash, drop.
2 successes and an advantage.
1 success and 1 to spare. You win.
I went through it.
Doo-dee-doo-dee-doo.
All right.
Get him into
Yeah.
the engine
He'll say,
room.
of course, and follow you in.
Like Lux turns and looks over his shoulder, and Ares is there in full
Yep.
armor.
Okay. So
Walk inside.
Powder locks the door to the ship
Hit
as soon
the-
as
yeah.
everyone's in.
Hit the lock on the engine room door.
Hello there.
I'm sorry, friend, but you're now part of a movie known as Taken.
he sort of yelped. "Oh, that one had far too many sequels. You need a better reference."
Tried sequels because it was perfect.
Ah! There were only 2 sequels, and they were both well. The first one was shit. The second one was kind of okay.
The
Anyway,
second was
I feel
alright.
I feel like we're getting a bit off topic here.
But we're not going to get into it right now because I know I will lose this debate.
yes. So yeah. So this is where Lux just sort of kind of shakes off the innocent, stupid ditz thing and just takes the lane. You see, this is why I like Weequay. You guys are so fucking dumb.
He'll sort of weigh his options. Well played. So,
Looking for information.
are you just like slavers or something?
Oh
Or
God, no.
information?
Fuck no. We don't need. This is my friend Aries. I would say I say friend, but I use that in a very loose term. I don't know him that well. All I know is that he's looking for someone, and he is willing to literally die finding this person.
Understood.
You have had a conversation with this person recently.
I would be happy to help, but unfortunately, I talk to a lot of people and would need little more than just I've talked to them.
Of course, I am just simply, right now, I am simply setting the stage and setting expectations. It's important to do these things when you start asking questions.
Okay.
So I'm sure you're happy to provide information. I'm sure you're not going to give us any problems, and this will go smoothly for all involved.
I understand.
Aries, the floor is yours.
Recently, you spoke with a man named Yarrick, Mandalorian. I would give a physical description.
I don't usually take names, but I can narrow it down to about.
I'll
two
give. I will
Mandalor-
give. I'll give him the time that we were told he spoke with him.
Yeah. You spoke with him in this
Right.
bar at this time.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Tall fella. Didn't have any armor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I pull down. I again like sort of reveal the cybernetic arm. He's the reason that I don't have my left hand.
I'm sorry about this. He seems to really like giving his backstory.
Well, it's important that you understand that I'm looking very much to return this favor to him and to anyone that really gets in my way. So, if you have any information about how we can find Yarrick, or where he might have been going, or who he's looking to get him off of Crossroads, because I know he's not planning on staying, we'd be very grateful, and you won't have to join the ranks of those who have had to find replacement limbs.
And for the record,
Happy to help, but darling. Oh, sorry.
for the record, we are very much well, and the last thing that we want to do is violate any kind of rules of Crossroads. And so, while we would hate to do it, we will be happy to do a flyabout of Crossroads while we have this conversation if it goes the way we don't want.
It's not necessary.
I know. I just need to.
We just really want to make it clear.
I'm only a confidential resource until someone starts threatening me with guns. And
Wonderful.
then I'm only a confidential resource if the family or friends of someone is threatening me with guns. Look, I'm a stylist. On the side, I help folks find more affirming form. Hair, appearance, cosmetics. We should look how we want to look. We should feel at home in our bodies. I give people haircuts, give them resources for other folks. Most of my clients are Also looking to leave behind an old life. If I don't know the details of any specific person. I know that had I talked to your friend and about potentially doing a makeover, help him with his hair color, eye color, or some other things. Staying him, but mixing around a few of the details. He ultimately decided he couldn't afford my rates and that he'd get back into contact with me if he made enough money. From what I know, he didn't have any immediate plans of leaving, but that I doubt he would have told me. I do know he was looking to be blonde with green eyes, and that he was looking in to get something distinctive, probably a face tattoo or scarification. I don't know if he's going to go get that from someone else. I doubt that he will find a better rate. Is that helpful? What else can I do for you?
That is extremely helpful, because there's only really 2 or 3 skills he has to make money if he's intending on not leaving Crossroads.
Right.
Changing your look isn't cheap either.
So my question is, he is dedicated to whether he finds a better rate or not is immaterial. He'll look. Who are your competitors?
If you tear up any bars with guns, it's not on me, but and he'll rattle off a name of about 4 hair salons. Though, to be quite honest, I think he was taken aback enough by the price. He's unlikely to be looking immediately. You might want to give him a month or so. You're not going to track him down through whatever work he has. You might want to give him a month or so to build up the credit count that he would need to come back to me or anyone else.
It's not cheap. He'll be working for quite some time to make enough credits to change his appearance.
Which means that he will be seeking out jobs.
Which means he's either going to be here for quite some time, or he's going to bail knowing that he can't be here for quite some time to find actual work that will pay.
Did he have anything when this is ignoring the weak way? Did he leave here with anything? Did the security camera show him stealing money or anything like that?
He didn't even have his weapons or armor, did he?
Nope.
From the angles that you guys had, unless there was something that was in his room,
He can't leave.
left.
He has no
There is
money, no gear.
No way he is
Oh,
leaving Crossroads at this time.
it's stowaway, but
Stowaway, yes.
that'd be the only way, though. Most likely.
Ares, he wasn't a stealther from what you knew of
No,
him.
he's not. He's not the
And
subtle kind.
There's only one group that would be able to get him off, or that would be interested in getting him off without him paying.
So, pretty certain he's probably going to the fighting ring.
Or people who could accept his services and supply him with equipment here.
Problem is, this is
The
a
amount
needle.
of
The fighting ring, the fighting ring would be really convenient, though.
the amount of people that have their own gear and proven ability far outweighs the one lone Mandalorian with no gear.
Oh yeah, no, the Mandalorian who shows up with nothing on him saying, no, I'm good at what I do, I swear.
Yeah.
Better be
They
really
have a part rank
fucking
here for
convinced.
people who insist that they're better than everyone else here.
They do.
The problem is, this is a
He's fought here for a while.
needle in a very small haystack.
You know what? Let's check the fighting ring, because if he's there, that solves 2 birds with 1 stone.
Well then. Thank you.
A,
So,
we'll know where he is, and B, I think it's probably the one place you can kill him on this ship.
Not that I am not delighted to be surrounded by sexy ladies and muscly men, but can I please go now?
I don't need him anymore.
Yes, that one thing.
Yes,
Do you
dear.
have a card? I may have use of your services at some time in the future.
He'll sort of slip it to you.
Thank you.
Though you understand my policies of confidentiality and how far it extends.
Absolutely.
Have a lovely day, dear. And he'll just head off your ship because what the fuck just happened to his life?
Yeah.
Actually, that's a good point. Is the fighting ring... Is it okay to kill people if you're in the fighting ring with them?
Well, you have to set up the fight with them.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, you have to. So not just anyone who happens to be in the fighting ring, but
But
the
like if a
more
dude's...
lethal- Ares would know all this. The more lethal you're willing to be, the higher risk the activities you're doing are, the more it pays.
Mhm.
If you're in a hand-to-hand understood to be to the knockout thing and you go past the ref saying stop to stab someone with a knife, that's gonna be overkill. But if it's a fight where the understanding is you're using weapons or at least you're using lethal force, then yeah, and those are the higher paying gigs.
Yep.
Also, anything with a monster, they don't always stop it. Most of the time, no one dies.
Well,
But they don't necessarily stop the three-headed dog from chomping on someone.
He has no equipment and no money. He's not going to. He might be there, but he's not going to be entering death matches. If I was him,
how stupid is this guy?
I would be doing backroom brawls at first, and to get some petty cash, to get at least a gun or something, right, Ares?
potentially. Though.
I have 3 questions.
Hmm.
How stupid is he?
Unfortunately, not very.
Okay.
Get off this ship.
How skilled is he?
Not as good as me. Better than him, I say, pointing at Sai.
That's a... no offense, Silo, but that's a pretty wide margin, I'm assuming, by the fact that you're a Mandalorian and seem
I
to be
what?
pretty good at what you do, and you are not a Mandalorian.
You've seen me fight before?
No, but I
Oh.
know the difference between Mandalorians fighting and non-Mandalorians fighting.
We do have a reputation.
Yes, rather large war that you lost, from what I remember.
Oh, shit!
Yes, one race of people from one planet fought everyone else to mostly a standstill and lost. You
Nice.
guys got conquered by the Empire in a day.
That's not how that happened, but okay. Says the Prince of the Universe.
Someone needs to take some history classes, as I obviously know mine, and you don't know yours, but that's okay, Ares. You're the gun, I'm the brain, so let's go on with the conversation.
Salty and sexy. I like the direction the crew of this ship has taken. My point is he's probably far more competent than your average person who's going to be finding themselves in the fighting pit rather than doing bodyguard work or the like.
Which is why he'd probably more likely go to the fighting pit, because it'll be an easier...
And question 3, how desperate do we think he is, considering that he probably knows you figured out he's off the ship?
Well, he's trying to get his face changed, so he's looking for... He's got a price in mind that he wants to get. If it were
Which means
me...
he's going to take risks.
If it were me, I'd get the price that I needed to get, go to the fighting arena, figure out the quickest way to get that price, and go from there.
All right, let's go to the arena.
All right. So, guys, head to the arena. Not what I was expecting. Okay.
I think that is the theme of this week's episode.
Sorry.
Not what I was expecting.
Sorry.
Don't apologize. That's on us.
I
I
mean,
feel like
not though, because this is a direction that I knew you could go and gave you hints towards. It's just,
yeah, but
never mind.
I was expecting to
Yeah.
take a while.
So you head to the arena. Looking at the posted things, no one named as Yarick on the listings is currently fighting.
how many low level entry fights are there? I would think at this arena, it's mainly because it's arena, mainly big prize, awesome, cool fights because people are paying to watch. How many like low level entry fights are there?
So there are a lot of big ticket matches, ostentatious things. This guy versus a droid full of flamethrowers.
Right. Yeah.
This droid full of flamethrowers versus this giant dog, that sort of thing. But there's also, because it's a betting arena, there's also a lot of things that are going to have lower barriers to entry for betting or are more recreational. There's a lot of regulars who mostly just beat on each other and occasionally go into the showy matches. And there are a fair number of entry level ones because they tend to get lumped together. You can go and see these 4 matches in a row that are going to be all sort of similar low level. So you can bet without feeling like you lost your wallet.
Okay, I've got an idea. First, we need to find out if he's here.
But
is there a listing for like people who are currently fighting or are scheduled to be fighting with no gear, no equipment, or gear provided by the arena?
So there's a regularly updating program on the screen of big fights, but if you go up to one of the employees, they can get you, like, if you have specifications, you want to watch fights that are like this, you can get a list of newbies who are fighting no equipment. Humanoid fighters, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a few of those. None of them have the name Yarick, like I said, with the larger list, but there's one batch of four matches, so 8 total people that's coming up fairly soon.
So, my idea, Lux, you'll probably be integral to this because you're the one he doesn't know. Approach him as a representative of another fighter, giving him basically the mission statement of, look, we've got someone who wants to go up against a Mandalorian to fight to the death, with just sort of no armor and a weapon. Would you be interested? This is the amount of money we're looking to put down on it, and give him a number equal to what he's looking for or close to it. See if we can't get him to agree to a fight without him actually knowing who he's fighting.
I can definitely try that.
That's one of my ideas, at least.
There's potential there.
I'll point out the group of people who are fighting with little to no equipment. But most likely, if he's here, he's going to be one of these folks.
Where are we going to find those people?
Unless he's managed to drastically increase his income very quickly.
Right.
Do I know where those fighters will be being prepped? Having been here before and worked here before?
You can make your way to that arena easily enough.
Yeah. So I will give Lux those directions.
I could go as well, just keep low profile, but be able to ask around at least.
Sure, though he does know you, so.
I'll just, like I said, keep a low profile.
Alright. I'll stay back here near the counter.
So, Powder, what are you gonna do?
Powder's probably just gonna stay with Sai.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
So everyone's headed roughly to the fighting arena. Ares is staying back because he might be recognized. We're gonna start with Sai and Powder's part of this. It's probably before the fights officially start, but there are not a huge crowd, not the sort of crowds that Ares and even Kraz were able to attract before, but a fair number of people that have gathered around.
All right, yeah, I'll start looking just to see if I recognize anyone as Yorick, first and foremost, before I start opening my mouth.
Nope. Though the fighters are probably in the back right now, that's mostly crowd gathered around.
Okay, so this is just a crowd.
Yeah, was there... Sorry.
We wanted to try to get to where the fighters are.
Okay, yeah, easy enough. You can head around that direction.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so once we get there, I'll start looking for Yorick first and foremost.
First up, vigilance difficulty 2.
Okay.
I'm gonna burn a light side.
Did I make this as well?
Yeah, Powder, you are also there. Sorry.
That's all right. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah,
flat roll.
No, there's a few guys chatting, but unfortunately most of them are turned away from you. One woman will sort of give you a wave and a wink, but doesn't match the description you're looking for at all. You saw Garrick less than a day ago. Unfortunately, neither of you.
All right, if I don't see him, I'll make my way to one of the fighters.
Sure.
And be like, "Excuse me."
That sort of waved to you before, or just someone?
Yeah, the one who waved to me before.
Cool.
Um,
Yeah, she's got sort of long braided hair. Seems human, at least at first glance. Though has a slightly purplish hue to her skin that might indicate something else. You're not
Okay.
exactly sure. Humans are purple. Most are.
my idea of human isn't purple. Good evening. You mind if I ask you a question?
Sure. What do you need?
I put a bet on a fighter, and I was hoping just to come down here, give him a good pat on the back, wish him luck. I'm having a hard time finding him, though.
Let me grab the other guys. I don't know any of them very well. I'm new, but
Okay. Yeah. I knew.
Hey, I can go grab my competitors for you. It's not insulting that you didn't vote for me at all. Bye.
No idea who you are.
She'll sort of wander over to the group of the rest of them, seemingly banter for a bit. And like the group of them will all look over to you and she'll sort of wave you over.
Okay.
At this point, you do spot Yarick sort of towards the back of this group of people. He seems to have mostly been sort of sitting there, keeping his head down, but sort of turns to look at you.
The moment we make eye contact, I mouth "run,"
He gives you a nod,
and then I go to talk to the individuals and start looking for this guy. I give a vague kind of description of Yarick, blah 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 blah.
He sort of heads off. Powder, I want you to roll me a vigilance check because you're directly next to all of this, and I want to see what you do with it.
Is it still difficulty 2?
Difficulty 2, but I'll give you a boost die for this happening directly in front of your face.
Sweet. Here's hoping. Wait, hold on. Do we have a light side point still?
I think you should.
Yes, we're gonna do that. Upgrade on the light side.
And as you're sort of conversing with the rest of them, this girl is making some biting comments, but she seems to mostly be doing it in good fun.
One
Rest of them
success,
are-
2 threat.
I totally
Yeah.
play along.
mostly from the burlier races, Sabrak guy, that sort of thing.
Cool.
Yeah. So Powder, you don't necessarily know the exact contact text, but with 1 success, you are sort of looking. You've only seen Yarrick a few times because you never went to meet with him on the ship, so you mostly met him during a firefight. But you're like, oh, isn't that guy look something like? You notice Sai sort of saying something under his breath that seems to be directed at that guy, and then that dude heads off. With 2 threats, the context is a little lost on you, but you definitely perceive, if not contact, some sort of mutual recognition. And isn't that the guy we're looking for?
Is he the only Mandalorian back here?
So, Mandalorians are humans. He is not the only dark-skinned human back here.
Okay.
He is not the only dark-haired human back here.
Okay.
He has what could be Mandalorian features, and he matches Yarrick's general description and your previous but brief encounter with Yarrick. But he's not the only person that could be a Mandalorian back here. But then again, Corey could have potentially been a Mandalorian. She would have been a rather unusual Mandalorian because she looks more like she's from the core world, and she also has no muscle mass.
Well, not all Mandalorians are like the bounty hunter Mandalorians. Like,
No.
yeah.
Not all are.
Hashtag not all Mandalorians.
There's a whole moon of just like a normal civilization of Mandalorians.
Actually, the moon is the fighters. The
No,
moon is the fighters these days.
Yeah.
It got switched around a few times. But the moon is where they sent all of the fighters when they wanted to become an art civilization.
Okay. So that's the,
But then
the
all the
point we're
fighters
at right
came
now.
back, and that was only for like half a generation.
Gotcha.
Star Wars was really good, and everyone should watch it.
Okay. But yeah, if Powder like recognizes him vaguely, then they will send a message via comms to Ares.
You'd also notice Sai's recognition and Sai not acting, but whatever you do.
So do I not get a role to like? I obviously would have been trying to keep that hidden from Powder. That I was like, that's kind of the point. Like I'm not just like there he is. Right.
Not in this case. I gave Powder a role for it. It's something that
To
is
notice,
happening
yeah.
pretty openly, and you can't forcibly divert Powder's vision while also trying to communicate with someone.
No, I just like
Powder is directly standing next to you.
okay.
Yeah.
And Powder was,
I'm trying to cut down on making this game all roll, because I feel
Legit.
like I've been doing that unfairly.
Yeah, Powder will send a message to Ares and to Lux and just say possible sighting
Where?
with the fighters.
I'm heading that way.
Lux, you were also headed towards the fighters.
I had been. Once this is said, and I see Ares heading for the fighters, I just simply shoot him a look, say, remember to behave. Because if you get, I don't care if you get yourself killed right now, I don't know you well enough regardless. But if you get anybody else from the ship killed, we're going to have words. And I'm going to go back out just in case. Basically, Lux assumes that Ares is going to go in there and start waving the blasters around, and people will start running. So she is taking a position at one of the at probably the closest exit to where the fighters are that she can find.
I love that the entire plan you guys had is shot because you found the thing that would let you do the plan.
Yep.
Cool. Ares, you're headed towards the fighter pit.
I mean, the whole plan is shot because Ares suddenly knows about it and went running.
Yeah.
It was a I don't know where he's at.
Agreed to this plan.
No,
I
yeah,
want to point
I
out.
know, absolutely. Ares came up with part of it. Ares, it's like, I didn't know where he was. Now I know where he's at, and stupid mode has been engaged.
Yep.
Good to know. All right, Ares. You know.
I am stalking through the crowd, heading in that direction, trying to spot Yarg.
All right. As you're doing this, because stalking through a crowd is not subtle.
No, it's not.
One of the sort of people who's running the arena is like, Ares, welcome back. And he fights for you today.
Maybe. And I'm still looking for Yarg.
I am really quick
Taurus,
going on
me now.
the communicator, and can I make it specific to cut Ares out of this? Out of
Sure.
the conversation. Ares is on his way. If he starts shit, pull back. Get away.
Back in my internal, and I go, we've studied for this test.
Yeah.
This is not our first rodeo.
And before Ares gets there, you actually everyone but Ares, because Ares is probably a little too distracted to notice. You do notice the listings on this particular arena shift. Apparently, one of the fighters canceled and will be in tomorrow's batch. So you can gather from that which name would be the guy who just got told to leave.
Okay, but I'm not going to ask you for the name because I know what asking for names off the fly is like, but we know what the name is. It's not like, okay.
You know what name he's fighting under. You know what time he's supposedly fighting tomorrow. Ares, make me a vigilance roll.
What difficulty?
Difficulty 2.
And I'm gonna. No, we don't have any more light side points to use. I need to update that.
Sorry.
There are no light side points left. Sorry.
Someone's been strategically using them.
I
I
need
used
to-
one. So.
I need to find a role that's disastrous enough to justify a dark side point, because it feels petty to be like, remember this? Here, have a dark side point to try and remember the thing.
All right. Difficulty 2 vigilance check.
Yeah.
Success and an advantage.
If he was here, he's not here anymore. You spot 1 or 2 Mandalorian guys, but none of them are anything like Yarek. There's a guy notably with what looks like a vibro sword who's in the monster fighting part, has visible clan symbols. Well, sort of gives you a sharp nod of, I recognize you, you recognize me, when you pass over him. He's not currently wearing much of his armor, but that could mean that he chose a non-armored fight.
Yep.
But isn't Yarek.
I'm gonna go over to the other Mandalorians that I can find.
Sure. He's sort of watching the match. Hey, you've been here before and tangled a few times.
Yep. Ares Artinos, Clan Artinos.
Lusarius, Clan Rat.
Nice to meet you. You fight here often?
Only once or twice. My crew comes through on occasion, and they like to let me loose, but I don't have the patience for full-time arena brawls.
No, I can understand that. I'm currently looking for a trader to my clan. I was hoping maybe I could enlist a few honorable men to give me some assistance.
I want you to roll me. Do you have any education skills?
No.
Just roll me knowledge education with 2 boost die for Mandalorian culture being a thing you're familiar with.
Knowledge education. To what difficulty?
Difficulty 1. This is kind of basics.
3 advantage.
So you can notice the way his face with traitor, and you can tell that he's trying to feel out exactly what you're implying. You know, Clan Ren was not one of the clans that left. You feel like that name's important. You don't exactly remember why. Maybe because your clan has been cut off from the more centrally located people who still operate off Mandalore.
Yeah.
But by the time you reach the end of the sentence, it doesn't seem like you're implying that he's a traitor for not being of your clan or anything like that, which you get the sense he was feeling out.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily remember why, but you get the sense he was feeling out. I can ask my men, but my family here isn't of my clan.
Oh no, this is internal Artinos clan betrayal. Former partner of mine running around loose on this place, trying to get him back home to my clan so that he can face an honorable duel, and the coward keeps running away. Last time he was spotted was around here trying to get some money to get off station, but I kind of stand out. You know what I mean?
I'll keep an eye out for anyone who might be like that. And I assume you give a...
Yeah, I'll give him a description. Okay. Basically just trying to get him back onto my ship or someone else's ship and then transfer it to mine so I can take him back so he can face the justice he deserves.
Got any contact info I can use?
Yeah, I'll give him my con link.
He'll give you his as well. We mostly do bounty hunting, little bit of arms trafficking. But he'll be here for next day and a half before they get me back out in the field.
And if you see anything, just give me a call.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
All right. So, who wants to go next?
I am going to hold on just a second. From where I'm at the door, I'm gonna let's see. It's all in things in a short range himself. Okay, so I have. All right, I need a judgment call on something.
Sure.
Sense. The user may spend force points to sense all living things within short range of himself.
Okay.
Does that mean you know? Can I use that to find someone? Or detect if someone shows up in the vicinity?
Let me check something real quick because I'm likely to say yes unless that's a specific upgrade to the ability you get later.
Right, makes sense. I know the only upgrade I have is detecting surface thoughts of a target that I am engaged.
Sort of like divine sense or whatever, where it's like, you know how many zombies are nearby, just not their names, kind of thing.
Oh, now I'm really wishing I had a character that would ask for all of the zombies' names before killing them.
Jeff, Fred, Gerald, Gary,
Trevor.
Gary.
Well, no, because the character who has a thing about zombies is the character in Jeremy's game, so I could torture him with, hey, You know how everyone else keeps asking for specific details? Give me all of the zombies' names, please.
This one's I would just start naming the names of past random people that you guys have encountered. They might not be those people. They are just they just happen to have the same name. But it is
Huh.
a really weird
Look,
coincidence.
this one's Anders. That's weird.
Oh.
Oh, that's me.
Oh.
And
I
Anders.
appreciate it.
And click clack.
Painful.
Alistair.
Painful.
So,
Alice.
given I've done enough cursory browsing, I'm going to say in this instance, yes,
Okay.
with the caveat that it might not be precise.
That's fine. It is
And the better
basically
you know someone, the easier it will be.
I'm trying to use it as an early warning system of he's coming close. I need to start looking. So that way I don't look like I am looking beforehand.
Sure.
I'm just the person sitting there, having a drink or smoking a cigarette or doing a death stick or whatever it is I look like I'm doing. Probably not a death stick because those
Death
things
sticks have a mechanical advantages and disadvantages.
Yes, they do.
So you have to buy those.
Also, they're expensive.
Yeah. You can buy
And
one here.
Lux has not traded one addiction for another. Well, she has, but death sticks is not
Power
the
is an
new addiction.
addiction.
What?
Power is an addiction. It literally is with the dark side.
I was thinking other things, but regardless, yes. So she is just sitting there like doody doo doody doo doody doo. Is there anybody like this? And then the second he
Do
pings,
you have to roll for sense or does it automatically?
it's you spend a force point.
Okay. Spend whatever you're spending. And
Yep. And I'm committing a force point to it, which is my one force point.
Yep. You're sort of keeping your senses out. Nothing. You're sort of casting your eyes around. You do spot previous top competitors in various areas, because especially you're by the like solo fighters, humanoids versus humanoids type fights. You do notice one name about halfway down the solo fighters list that you're like, oh, that's a thing to at least like that might pique your interest.
Okay.
Aki Taurus is listed about 8th on the top solo competitors.
Oh, really?
That name.
Doesn't seem to be here right now, or at least she has no current or upcoming matches listed.
So she stops. She looks over as motherfucker. All right, I will keep that in mind.
You would have spent enough time on places like this to know you can probably request the fight record of anyone who's prominent.
Right. That is something that I can do in I can do in a hot minute.
Yeah, you keep on, and we're gonna, as I know that's happening, I'm gonna just check in with everyone else.
Yeah.
Powder, Psy, you are in the sort of down area by the fighters. I assume you've cut off that conversation. As you see Ares talking with a Mandalorian guy that he doesn't look like he's about to murder.
Yeah. Once we see Ares down here,
Yeah.
I'll look at Powder and go, well, Ares are here. I guess we'll just see what he does and then follow him.
Yes, that does seem the sensible option.
And then once we see Ares finish the conversation, just kind of trail after him wherever Ares goes.
I'm heading back up and out.
Okay. They're all headed back up. Lux, after a little while, there's a ping. It's not quite what you're looking for, but it is a sense of people you're familiar with. Ares inside, who you've met a few times. Not,
Yeah, fair
not
enough.
be like, oh, that person, but oh, hey, that's a familiar notion.
Wait till they come over.
Yeah, if I see Lux, I'll head over that way.
The group of you all
Do we
eventually.
have to run?
No, he left before I got down there.
All right. Well, apparently he's going to be back here soon. He's going to be back here tomorrow.
I wonder how he knew I was here.
How much of
Well,
a reputation do you have?
pretty good, but I wasn't down by the fighters.
Ares, you are not in that top list. Kind of
Yeah.
because you prefer more recreational fights,
Yeah,
and also you're not a regular enough competitor.
I'm known by a few of the staff, but I'm not like a top draw. Of
I
the
mean,
arena.
you said that he's smart.
Yeah.
If I were somebody who was here looking for fights, I would find somebody who can watch the door and say, hey, if you see this guy, let me know.
Powder, when you saw him, was anybody over there talking to him?
Kat, are you muted?
Am I? No, I'm not. Sorry.
Sorry.
That's all right. I don't believe. I don't think there was. Right? He was by himself.
Communicators.
He was over by the other fighters.
Right, but he wasn't talking to anyone. Right?
I asked to essentially introduce him
Yeah.
to the fighters. Definitely went over, not specifically to him, but all of that group of fighters.
But he wasn't really talking to anyone. He was just kind of like
No.
keeping to himself. Right? He was keeping to himself. And then he left.
Did he just up and leave with nothing, just randomly?
It was abrupt, but I did not see.
Who were the
Anyone.
guys you were talking with, Ares?
Hmm?
Who were the?
Just some buddies.
All right, so we know he's going to be, well, it's interesting because he's listed as actually fighting tomorrow now.
Surely he's not that stupid.
If he needs money.
It's not an issue of being stupid. It's an issue of being desperate. What's his other option?
I mean, the other option would be to be a stowaway, other than to obviously come back to the arena where we're going to set a trap.
Very likely he's signed himself up expecting us to see that. Well, either expecting us not to notice his name changing, which is a possibility, or expecting us to notice and expecting us to come back but not going to be here. I feel confident that...
I'm keeping track of any ships that leave.
So it's very possible that he will be looking to escape somehow, whether it be stowaway or finding somebody that is willing to take a chance on doing him a favor. Especially now if he thinks that we're coming for him here.
I mean,
Probably be a good idea to keep an eye out over here anyway, so just in case.
if he, I mean, yeah, I'll ask this straight out. Ares, if you see him down there, are you going to attack him first thing, or are you going to wait until you get into the arena?
Wait until we get into the arena.
But why would he
If he
willingly?
can figure out a way to arrange, if he can figure out a way to avoid fighting you, he's going to fight here because he knows we're not. He knows that that you're probably not suicidal enough to violate Crossroads rules. He's relying on that.
Then why'd he run away?
I don't know.
You're scary as fuck.
I didn't get close enough to him
He
to read
didn't
his
see me. By the time I was down there, he was already gone.
Well, what do we want to do now? We
I
can
don't
come
know.
back tomorrow. Let's go back to the ship. when we get back to the ship.
Yeah.
We will keep an eye on which ships leave. And if we don't have any we don't have anything that really sticks out as, yep, this is somewhere that he probably shipped out on, we'll come back tomorrow.
And the Star Wars scroll does that. You guys head back to your ship, and we've seen cut there.
Yep.
Course of the night. I mean, there are ships headed lots of places. But at some point, Ares, you're getting a call. From the ship's main computers. You recognize the forms you and your sister tend to use.
Yeah, I will go in, close the cockpit, private channel, turn it on.
So,
Athena,
hey, little bro.
I'm older than you.
Yeah, but you're my little brother.
I'm like 5 years older than you.
Shut up. Shut up, shut up, shut up.
Oh my gosh, she's drunk.
What are you drinking and why?
A lot of everything. Because I felt like it. Because I'm. I don't care.
Is there a reason for this drunk dial?
No. I was gonna call you, and then there's this girl, and she was hot, and it's not the point. Okay. How are things going with you and championing our cause or whatever?
Well, we
Or
found
you think
Jarek.
you're doing now?
We found Jarek.
Cool.
We captured him.
Well,
And then another person that we rescued out of slavery helped him escape.
okay. So, yeah, most people who've been in slavery are not terribly understanding about other people being held captive. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Found him. He's still on the station that we're on.
Okay. And you've got friends. You made friends. I made you make friends. I ordered you to make friends.
Yes.
Did you make friends?
Yes.
Are they helping you?
Yes.
Are you being appreciative?
Yes.
I don't believe you, but I'm too drunk to not believe you. Cool. So, what are you doing now?
Well, we found where he was. He scampered away. Seemed to figure out that I was there before I saw him. Not sure how. The person that saw him first said he was by himself, so either he's developed some sort of sixth sense or has acquired some form of communications device they didn't have previously. He has no money, no...
Link.
Hmm?
It's called a comm link.
He has no money or gear, so either he stole it and didn't get caught on a place that has very strict rules about stealing and killing, or somebody's helping him out. Either way, he's trying to get money to change his looks and get off the station. He's having a bit of trouble with that. Trying to catch him in the middle of all that.
All right. You're not letting this go. I thought you were going to find a way to do your honor thing or whatever, but get your shit together one way or the other. Doesn't sound like that's happened yet.
Once I get a hold of him, take him back to the home base and kill him in an honorable duel, and it'll be done.
And what after that?
Henry, whatever the clan needs.
Okay. Is this what the clan needs right now?
You don't just let a traitor go free. Especially not after killing all the people that he killed.
I know what happened as well as you did. I was there just as much as you were.
Yeah. And so you remember that our entire family is dead except for you and me, right?
I do. And I got responsibility for everyone who's left.
Yeah.
Because it's not about letting a traitor go free or not. I couldn't give two shits. But it's about how little we have left and how much we're going to sacrifice is for getting that person to justice versus how much we're going to put into getting shit done for the people who are still around. And you're the one who can't let this go. So if you're not going to let this go, you at least owe me what your plan is and who you're doing it with.
Your responsibility is to the living. Mine is to the dead. That's how it's been.
Thena kind of looks at you for a long minute before.
That's why you're in charge, and not me.
My responsibility is to the living and to this crew. Right now, that responsibility basically boils down to this entire galaxy getting fucked over and us getting dragged under that current because we don't have the muscle or the resources or the name. Have to consider turning this ship around to Mandalore, because at least then we've got something. So, I'm telling you to handle your shit. Talk to your friends. Figure out what honor duel you're gonna duel with the fucker who got us all dead. I'm telling you that if that's your priority, fine. Don't care. Fine. That's your priority. But do it smart and try and bring home some fucking bacon. There's no bacon here. Just alcohol and hot chicks.
I understand.
Watson, where is this place exactly? No, I'm
It's locked up.
I'm joking.
I understand, sister.
By the way, that trace on your ship, that's why I was calling in the first place. It's gone dead, but is still poking around occasionally. They're still scanning for it. They haven't picked up anything that our contacts know about. And not if you get too embroiled in that, I don't like the people hunting you. And while I never said this, if those fuckers find you, just take them down, but we had nothing to do with telling you to take them down.
Understood, sister.
And she will end the call there.
I will sit back in sort of the chair. Nisukui gara kiradik ni patali gadarasum Thera Navuk Terra Ida Rhea Esu. And then open the door and head back to my room.
Bless you.
All right.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna say next, Powder. Is there anything you wanted to do?
I mean, not really. Powder's just gonna kind of make sure that the ship is in order.
All right, that's fine.
At this point, there's not a whole lot for them to do.
Did an airplane just go by your window, Cat?
Probably a motorcycle.
Okay. Awesome. It sounded like a plane taking off. It was cool.
Yeah.
That works.
I live in an industrial area, and so people just come down the street.
Just
Way too fast.
that was the reaction you saw in the two of us. You're
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
Like, my house is taking off.
Lux, a little before I know that happens, you get a message on your own comm, potentially while Ares is still talking with his.
Okay. Hello.
Lux, this is Tiara. If you and Sai have some time tomorrow, something I need to discuss with you about.
Sorry, who is it?
Tiara, who you'd know as the rebellion contact that recruited you and Ares originally, and
Right.
that operates
Sen.
off of Crossroads.
Lux
Yep.
and Sen.
Fucking hell, both of you. I got it half right. Lux and Sen originally, and generally operates off of Crossroads.
You have excellent timing, Tiara. I was just about to go talk to my new friend.
All right. Anytime tonight or tomorrow, you know where to find him.
Okay.
And then I assume Lux was going to talk to Sai.
Yep.
All right.
So yeah, Lux is grabbing a bottle of whatever is in the place. She's
Not as nice as it used to be.
That's fine.
Mostly
There's some-
Mandalorian whiskey now.
And there's some really nice wine though that I stole from that one rich guy's place.
That's right. You did.
So like in the essentially kitchen area, she looks at it, she's like, man, delicious. I'm gonna take a guess that this one is Silas, and grab the wine. And I will go find our Twi'lek.
Easy to find. I'm in my room reading.
Yep.
Normal.
There's a brief moment. Yeah, I should. And then so the doorbell for the room. There's a brief moment. She's like, "Do I just open the door or no? Let's be nice."
So the doorbell rings. It's Sai.
Character progression.
For the
Sai.
first time, Sai's like, "There's a doorbell."
Yeah, no. So Sai's super like doesn't react because he just doesn't know what the noise is, and then like looks up and like, hello?
Can I come in?
Oh, yes, of course.
Awesome.
Confusion. It's like, what is this?
You are the first person to ask to come into my room since I've joined this crew. It's
People normally just walk in. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
it's
the thing.
infuriating.
Yeah, we are at least the people who are traditionally on this ship. As long as this, no, not even this ship, the people who have been on the Nisari. Because this is not the first Nisari.
I've gathered that.
It's the name Nisari too.
Since it has been a thing, have been very, let's just say, open door policy people. Now, when I say that, I don't mean everybody's doors are open and inviting for other people to come in. I mean, nobody lets a door be closed. They just open it and walk through.
Yep, learned that
I
one.
was able to avoid this because I lived literally in the escape ship and knew how to lock the door where they couldn't open it.
Smart.
Also, Sen knocked. Sen was the only one who
Usually.
knocked.
Usually.
What can I do
I remember
for
at
you
least once Sen did not knock.
this fine evening, Lux, with what I see to
Well-
be my bottle of wine?
Yes. I assumed you would probably want a drink. It's been a long day, and you've had probably quite a busy, confusing experience.
Well, I definitely will take one, but why do I feel like I'm being buttered up for something?
You aren't. You legitimately are not. I would like to get to, I would like to get to know you better. Let's put it this way. And she shuts the door, sort of leans back on it. Like, Powder, I know. Powder, I know very well. Granted, it's been a while.
You'll have history.
There's been some fairly. I got the gist from sort of what Little Powder said, that there have been some seismic changes recently. But I can get it. Powder is powder. Ares seems to be, from near I can tell, is a very direct person. I know how to deal with that. I know enough about you from our shared associations that I know that I would rather get to know you just by getting to know you before I just make, based on a series of 7 or 8 hours worth of choices made, decide where you are or who you are.
It's probably the intelligent thing to do, given that I am the least pinned down of the crew.
I mean, least pinned down to this ship.
Exactly.
You are, by the nature of who we work for, we're kind of pinned down in a way.
In a way. What would you like to know?
Well, to start with, just why do you do it?
Well, the very obvious answer is the nature of my homeworld.
Fair.
I have some ties to the violence itself that took place there.
Sorry to hear that.
Thank you. Is that good enough?
I mean, is it? I'm not interrogating here.
I'm sorry. It's the last time I had a run-in with someone with force powers. They tried to mind me thing.
I don't want to do that. I have no desire to do that. I have no intention of doing that.
To answer your question, the previous answer is the reason I started. The reason I'm still doing it is vastly different, but the reason I'm still doing it currently is we've got some information about force-sensitive children being taken that I would like to look into.
Aren't I aware of that information?
Yeah, you were the one who got
Yeah.
that information from
Are you
Carter.
guys still
you and
working on
Sen.
that?
Sen's still
And
doing that at least.
From what you know, when you two broke off, that's what Sen wanted to look into.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
if it did.
I have not a very large stake, but a very, very small one in it. And I don't know. I've been recruiting and trying to be a poster child for the rebellion for quite some time now, but honestly, I just don't see it making the changes that I would like to make before I finally kick the bucket. From what I've gathered, I'm possibly the oldest one on the ship, I think. I'm not quite sure how old Ares is, but
How old are you?
older. Um, so
Also, GM editorial note: powder is several hundred, apparently.
Right.
At
Yeah.
least.
I'm affected more by age than powder is, though.
Okay, that's legit. I mean, you probably are. I'm
on the back half of 40, if that helps at all.
okay. I mean, yes, you are older.
In my line of work, that
Not
if you
hugely
know is that
older,
is
but
very
older.
old. Many
I
of us don't
mean,
make it to 30, from what I can gather.
it is rare that we do. I'm there.
So what are you in for? I'm assuming you have. Um, answer me actually this question: is it a religion, or is it an actual like a faith thing? What I don't. That's what the stories have always
So
said. Is that
here's gonna be the funny story. My working with my what I do for the rebellion has nothing to do with what I can do.
I don't know if that's reassuring or troubling.
I found what I was able to do in the midst of doing stuff with trying to help out. Well, okay, it's a bit of a long story. The short of it is, while I was trying to push the members of this crew towards doing rebellion stuff.
Which is impossible, may I add.
What?
Absolutely impossible.
Oh no, I did it. I got people actually. There's somebody who I know who is now active. Two, three, I think 3 people that I have met that I have actively pushed into rebellion work now at this point. It's possible. It's just, it's tricky. Anyway.
Lux had to get herself captured to get one of them.
Yes. What I had to do, so the reason that I the reason that I am pro-rebellion, it's not as much pro-rebellion as, I guess there isn't functionally much of a difference, as extremely, exceptionally over-the-top level of anti-empire.
Yeah, that makes sense. They often go hand in hand.
Yeah. I was found at a very early age. I had a particular talent for computer slicing at that point. Recruited into an imperial program where that and my species' particular skills made for a talent for hunting down dissidents. That all went to a certain direction until the short version is something happened that broke me.
I'm sorry.
I'm over it now.
That's good.
But I decided I was done. I dumped a bunch of Imperial information onto the HoloNet. I ran. I ended up eventually meeting up with the crew member, Praz, and Rerun, and somebody you haven't met. Not in that order.
Gotcha.
Flash forward. We were working together on various things. At one point, this whole thing happened,
I see.
which is another thing in and of itself. And we were helping out people on Prez's homeworld where the Empire was. I had sort of pushed them into it a little bit. And long story short, it came down to a situation where I ended up captured. They all came to get me because they're idiots. And they managed to succeed. We essentially blew up a imperial secret prison, and then that whole dumping imperial information on the HoloNet thing, I did it again, and much more openly, with my name actively and face and a fuck you message actively attached. And
Interesting.
since then I've been working for the rebellion, doing Wetworks Black Ops things because it's what I'm very good at.
Yes, you definitely have a way with people.
Yep. And I have a way with people and certain skills that, well, that movie that you mentioned, yeah, that sort of
yes.
um
There is a speech that is
that
coming to
hollow
mind.
vid, yeah. And now I'm back here for now. And by the way, there's a rebellion contact. This has nothing to do with me. I was actually on the way here when they contacted me, but Tiana, our rebellion contact here, would like to meet with us sometime soon. In the next
Okay. She mentioned what for?
No.
Okay.
I'm guessing that she has something for us to do. Hey, I'm going to put, I wouldn't put a lot of money on it, but I would put a little bit of money on it that it is something in relation to Aki Torres, who is a person, vice admiral in in the Empire, who is, yeah, she's a thing.
They usually are.
She's special in
Well,
that terrifyingly charming
She blew up
but
her own ship trying to kill us.
terrifying way. Yes.
well, now that we're on the same page about why we do what we do,
Mhm.
definitely feel a little bit more comfortable around you. Any other questions you had?
No, I mean, I was mostly just trying to get to know you. Because I get that right now, the way things are, random people showing up and saying, yeah, I'm with the rebellion, therefore we should get along, is not how it works. That's how some people think it works. It's not actually how it works because people are more complex than that.
Well, you would be a little surprised by that. So, you know the person we've been trying to find all
Mhm.
day? Yeah, he works with us too.
Okay.
He's the one who got me the information I have currently about the missing force-sensitive children.
I see. That's an okay.
I'm not. It seems like he's been undercover with slavers for quite some time and Mandalorians.
I detect now two possibilities of why Tiana wants to talk with us.
Possibly. I'm not 100% against Ares
Right.
enacting his Mandalorian somewhat kind of against its own self-honor death thing. However, I have been throwing this individual some bones. I didn't help him get out of the ship, as we all saw that.
Right.
Um,
That was very entertaining,
that
by
was
the way.
honestly quite impressive.
Yeah, good stuff.
I had no idea it was going to be her.
So here's a question.
No
You know
fairness.
both of them,
Mm-hmm.
right? At least moderately well.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Who do you think's more useful to us?
between Ares and Yorick.
Mm-hmm.
Sai, from a capabilities perspective, Yorick's been out of the game for several years. So
Yeah. Information-wise, Yorick by
Right.
leagues. Honestly, I would like to sit down with Yorick with the information we have. I got a very brief moment to talk to him about it, but honestly, get like days to sit down to go over it. So hopefully, he could fill in holes that I am currently trying to figure out. But in terms of killing the Empire, Ares is
Right.
much better. So I guess really my counter question is, which would you rather do? Kill stormtroopers or find the missing Force-sensitive children?
I really don't like those. I don't like having to pick.
It's not a good decision, but that's the only
I
way I would
really
be.
want to do both, but okay. So
That is the only way I could
given the choice
choose.
between those, I think ideally our best bet is to get him onto the ship. If we get him onto the ship, it's going to take several days for us to get to wherever Ares' home world, wherever Ares is going to be taking him. You put me in a room with that guy, I'm going to know everything we need to know by
Well,
the end of it.
I'm not so much worried about that. Well, that is a good idea. Honestly, I just want I want him to sit down with the information he gave me and just
Right.
think
Go over it.
on
And
it.
yeah,
Sai, something that might be relevant to this conversation. You also have potentially related information that I believe Corey did leave a copy of with you.
yes.
Yeah, I've got all of it.
Oh.
Yeah. So, I've thought about the whole, we get him on the ship, we probably have at bare minimum, 3 days in hyperspace.
Right.
Seems to be the trend. Problem is, you didn't see the way Ares was around this man.
Oh yeah. Well, it's Mandalorian. It's honor. It's
No, it was beyond honor.
well,
He sat outside like a doting father, caring more about the image that he had when his daughter went out on a date than what was truly being accomplished. I think
So-
it's far beyond honor. I think at this point Ares is obsessed.
that's just Mandalorian culture. That's what we consider honor. They consider what we consider the shining fucking paragon of honor. They consider the bare minimum
I know that.
when it comes to that kind of thing. So I think Ares, from what I can tell, is still really high on the like is real stickler for this stuff, but it's not that far from at least my understanding.
And because
So,
of that, I did not put a lot of weight in
yeah,
having access to him
I tell you what.
while Ares was around.
Let's talk to Tiana, see what Tiana's gonna have a good
Tiara, but
tiara. Why did I keep thinking Tiana?
It's close.
I feel like there's something Disney distract.
She's obviously going to have a mission.
The Frog
or something
Princess.
for us.
Yes,
and the
Princess
Frog.
and the Frog. That's it. But let's see, because yeah, they met. Tiara might already have Yarick and might have no matter what, she's going to have information that we don't about this.
But
I feel like the smartest move here, to be honest, is to the absolute smartest move is to get Yarrick on a ship headed to like Coruscant. So that way we can point Ares towards Coruscant and do as much damage as possible on the way there to whatever Imperial forces. But that's not possible. So I feel like the if we can get him on this ship, I can get you all the time you need to have regular in-depth conversations with him about the information he has, basically what you want. And we can still give Ares what he wants.
You don't feel a bit at all guilty leading him to his death like that, to slaughter like a lamb. He's one of ours. He's been doing the work many of us are too afraid to do.
You're not wrong. He is doing. He is probably doing something that is potentially important. That said, we're a coalition of necessity. We work with people who are absolutely horrible people who I wouldn't piss on if they were on fire in the street. I don't know if this Yarrick is one of these people, but if we can get everything of value out of him and still potentially make Ares positively aligned towards perhaps being employed mercenarily to advance our cause, I'm okay with that.
All right.
To work in the position that Yarrick has worked in under slavers and not betray your cover, you have to be okay with it. That's not something you can really fake, not for a long period of time.
And with that consideration added to the table, I think that's where we're going to end for the night because I ran like 30 minutes over.
Yep.
Say bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.